step into the day with the dawn ringing in my ears. Oh, I tune into my TV show. No better way, I gotta get myself into gear. Let's go. Oh, and I feel good today with my wake up in the morning Expresso. I feel good today. It's my feel good breakfast show.
Be still, my beating heart. You have returned. Thank you so much. As always, I start with huge amounts of gratitude that you are here today, joining us for 3 hours of insane fun. A bit of gravitas, if yesterday was anything to go by. Brilliant start to the week, so thanks so much for that as well. My name is Graham Richards. Welcome to your feel-good kickstart to a brand new day. As always, we have to balance things out. Huge amounts of positivity, and hopefully we kind of fill you right to your bones with positive energy. That's one side of the conversation this morning, but we're also going to open the airwaves, connect with you around some pretty serious topics this morning. We are going to be throwing a massive spotlight on suicide awareness. It is, in fact, Suicide Awareness Day, and we need families, we need those of you that are feeling most at risk right now to think about the avenues and opportunities there are to change the course of your life right now. There are people that you can speak to, and we'll have all of those details up for you. Being a Medical Tuesday, that's going to be our focus. Then I'm going to sit down for this one because it's quite a tough one to broach. I think many parents might have to do this as well when we delve into the Pandora's box that we're going to open. We love connecting with you on social media and getting your thoughts, your insights. And this morning, we are asking for your take on the most difficult conversation you can have with your parents as a son, daughter, or maybe as a parent with your child. We're going to open the airwaves in your own family, get you talking, but we want to know from you, what are the most difficult things that you can broach? Maybe you're going through it right now. You can post comments as anonymous if you want, but we're going to be chatting a lot about that this morning, and I have a feeling it's going to get quite interesting, quite funny, but also get very real very quickly. So please be honest, be authentic. We'd love to hear from you. But as always, I don't get to do this alone. I absolutely love the fact that I get to start every day with these beautiful souls. Morning, gang.
Oh, good morning and welcome to our W Beauty Room. Of course, I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to wear, but we'll get to that a little bit later on. My name is Leanne Williams, and of course, I am going to just be here with you as well as the guys, Kat and Graham, for the next 3 hours. So I hope that you are ready for a feel-good breakfast show. Now, usually, just to inform what we're going to be wearing, we give you the weather update so that you have a little bit of an idea. Do I need to dress for a chilly day, for a warm day? But let's see what you have in store. Starting off with Johannesburg this morning, it looks like there's going to be plenty of sunshine with pleasantly warm temperatures. The sky remains clear for the duration of the day with little to no wind, so that's a good thing. Temperatures become a little bit chilly towards the evening and humidity remains low. Also for you, Durban, there will be some sunny conditions with nice temperatures and clear skies for the entire day. A light northeasterly wind can be expected with high humidity, and of course the temperature remains between 17 to 25 degrees, so that's looking pretty good. Also Port Elizabeth, mainly sunny conditions with delightful temperatures and a southwesterly wind towards the evening. Cloud cover increases and the wind dies down, but a warm sunset can be expected, so make the most of it. And then also Cape Town, there will be intervals of clouds and sunshine with pleasant temperatures that remain somewhere between the regions of 13 and 21 degrees. As the evening approaches, the clouds thicken and a southwesterly wind can be expected. Well, there you go. Those are your temperatures around the country today. But talking about myself, now that I know that a good day can be expected, I am loving denim on denim. We've been talking about it for a while, so these are my options. I'm pairing it with a denim skirt. Do I go for the lighter denim stonewash color over here, or do I go for the blue denim right here? Okay, so which options would you like me to have? Boom or boom? South Africa, I'm kind of going to need your help. The post is going to go up on Facebook, and you can let me know which of these denim options would you like me to wear, and make sure that you use that hashtag Expresso Show. Cannot wait to see which one you decide. Whoop, whoop.
Did you just give me a whoop whoop? I hope that whoop whoop was for me. I'm also feeling a bit whoop whoop in denim, all about layering denim. And we've kind of now changed the rules. You don't have to go for a full denim suit where everything is one tone. You can mix it up, change it up. I love a denim shirt, something quite rugged and masculine about it, which I really dig. You can check the vibe. But we've dressed it down, some nice white trainers, keep it chilled. You can have a lot of fun with denim. I think going into a new season as well, you want to change things up a little bit. Just try one denim outfit for a guy. Not, I think ladies are a bit more open-minded when it comes to shifting gears with your fashion. But as I do, get yourself a nice denim shirt, maybe a nice short cut if you want, something like this that really does, as I say, layer in the masculinity. Try it out. Maybe you'll discover something new. And of course, it's all available online, in store right now, or via the awesome Woolies app. All right, so now we are going to hopefully set your course, inspire you, help to focus that mind with our quote of the day. It's become one of my favorite parts of the day because it gives us a chance to kind of recalibrate, adjust our own focus, and focus really is the focus this morning. We're going to hone in on visualization techniques, something that I'm trying to use in my quest to be more mindful and increase mindfulness in general within my life, but also become more clear in my focus. And visualization is something that I think a lot of successful people use to get the desired outcome that they want. Practice has been given, I think, high achievers almost develop superpowers through this, and I can guarantee you that most people that we look up to as icons in business, global thought leaders, they all apply these techniques, whether it's intuitively, subconsciously, or very consciously, and this is an opportunity for you to do the same. So our quote today comes from William Arthur's Ward, and he says, be aware of where you want to go. Use visualization to help you reach your goals. If you can imagine it, you really can achieve it. In fact, how else are you going to achieve it if you're not envisioning it for yourself? So picture the life you want, picture the person that you want to be, picture the day that you're going to have today, and go out and crush it. So on that very positive note, let's kickstart our day with those news headlines.
In the national news this morning, KwaZulu-Natal police have opened an inquest docket into the death of KZN University student Natasha Konabia, who was found at the weekend dumped unconscious outside her house after being reported missing 3 weeks ago. The Minister of International Relations, Naledi Pandor, says the government will take the necessary steps to tackle the scourge of attacks on foreign nationals and return the country to stability and calm. On the international front, angry fans of Sierra Leone's national football team have attacked a player's house after he missed a decisive penalty. It meant that Sierra Leone failed to go through to the next stage of the 2022 World Cup qualifiers. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said yesterday that Iran had been developing nuclear weapons at a secret site near the city of Abbey, but that Tehran destroyed the facility after learning that it had been exposed. And then finally, 55-year-old Guy Jennings of Noordhoek, Cape Town, has just become the first South African to conquer the world's toughest mountain race, the 1,700 kilometers Silk Road mountain race through the mountains of Kyrgyzstan. Now, he was placed 34th out of 144 competitors. It's a single-stage cycling race with competitors following long-forgotten old Soviet roads with very little tarmac. An exhilarated Guy on the final day said the race was very, very hard. Beautiful, but brutal. The Cape Townian adventurer has had stacks of experience with endurance racing, having competed in, amongst others, 11 Comrades Marathons, the 230-kilometer Jungle Ultramarathon through the Peruvian Amazon rainforest, as well as the world's longest winter ultramarathon, the Iditarod. And of course, this is a trail invitational in Alaska. Well, that was your 6 o'clock news update. Let's get a taste of what's happening in the world of sport, and Graham has all those details.
Thank you so much. Picking up on one of the biggest stories in rugby, undoubtedly this week, and a tragic one at that. The funeral of Springbok legend Chester Williams, who died last Friday due to a suspected heart attack, will now take place at the Newlands Rugby Stadium. That's coming Saturday, kicking off at noon. Staying with rugby, for the first time in history, Ireland has climbed to the top of the World Rugby rankings, knocking New Zealand to second, while South Africa moves up to fourth. That was after, of course, beating Japan over the weekend. In cricket, Sine Luce will lead the process Proteas women's cricket team for their tour of India scheduled to take place from the 19th of September. Loose will be standing in, of course, for regular captain Danaith Nikirk, who is out with an injury. And we round off with a quick congratulations to Bianca Buitendach, a regular here on the show, who's just taken bronze at the 2019 ISA World Surfing Games in Japan, having already provisionally qualified for the 2020 Olympics. She is having an incredible year, so sending you massive congratulations. And that's where we leave our sport for now.
So we've asked you to send in your sunrise pictures. Samuel Jacobs sent us his sunrise from Beaufort West in the Western Cape, where an abundance of sunshine can be expected, with hot temperatures reaching a maximum of 35 degrees. Also, Gary Oakham sent us his sunrise picture from East London, where sunny conditions can be expected with a northeasterly breeze, reaching a maximum of 28 degrees. Let's take a look at those other temperatures around the country. Polokwane, good morning. Your low is 8, rising to 28 degrees today. Mbombela, a low of 10, reaching 27. Plenty of sunshine for Pretoria, with a low of 10, reaching 29 degrees today. Johannesburg, 10, 26. Mahikeng, 9, reaching 29. Klerksdorp, 6, rising to 28. Kimberley, 7, reaching 29 degrees. And the lowest temperature in the country today belongs to Bloemfontein, with a low of 4, reaching 28 degrees. Richards Bay, 17, reaching 28. There will be some high humidity for Pietermaritzburg, with a low of 11, rising to 29 degrees. A northeasterly wind of 17 kilometers per hour for Durban, with a low of 16, reaching 25. Mthatha, your low is 9 and your high is 32 degrees. East London, 16, 28. Also, the highest temperature in the country belongs to Cradock, with a low of 7, reaching 35 degrees today. Port Elizabeth, 16, 26. George, 14, 23. A northwesterly wind of 22 kilometers per hour for Sutherland, with a low of 8, rising to 25. Cape Town, 13, reaching 20 degrees. And then some high humidity for Worcester, with a low of 13, rising to 27 degrees. Springbok, 9, 27. And finally, Uppington, your low is 11 and your high is 32 degrees. We'll have another bulletin for you at 7 o'clock.
It's your time to shine with Presenter Search on 3 and Orbit Gum.
It's your time to shine indeed. That, of course, if you are one of the finalists in Presenter Search on 3, the Expresso edition. It's ramped up seriously. Just 8 weeks to go before we decide on the 2 fresh, new, amazing faces that'll be joining the Expresso family. But you guys at home have an opportunity to choose the one face that is going to be joining the top 10 as they now build towards what promises to be an intense climax. And here are the choices that you have. We had them on the show, an amazing group of people. And we had Kutle Adams, Danny Guseli, Zenande Makina, and Reshen Pillay, all amazing young people with incredible gifts and talents. But you guys have to decide which one of them gets that extra shot in the arm to be able to at least compete for their opportunity to join our team. And of course, we put it to you guys, Mzansi, on a Presenter Search on 3 Twitter poll that's tagged to the top of our Twitter page with the handle @be found on 3. That's the Presenter Search handle. And choosing your favorite from these 4 to be voted back into the competition. They've been on an emotional roller coaster, and you get to help them go up one last major hill. The poll is pinned to the top of the page to go and vote, but you can only vote once, okay? So please vote wisely. And we invited each of them onto Expresso last Thursday to have a bit of an exclusive chance to state why they think they were worthy of your vote. Each one of them made a very compelling case, all came across really well, really authentic, which is a big thing for me. So it's not going to be an easy decision. I can't decide actually between the 4, so I'm glad that you guys are doing it. If you haven't done so already, make sure that you have your say on our Twitter poll, okay? And if we look right now at how the votes are going, it's starting to look like a bit of a 2-horse race. So guys, if you want the guys to have a bit of a voice, get stuck in there. At the moment, Danny has 14%. Kutle Adams is out in front. She's got more than her nose out in front, 48% of the vote. But she does have a very strong social media following. So if you want the others to stand a chance, you're going to have to stand up and be counted. Have your voice heard. Rashen coming in with only 5%. Where's your community, Rashen? Get the family, get your school, get every person that you've ever worked with involved here, dude. You can play a part. And then Zenande Makina coming in with 33%. But as I said, Kutle at the moment, out and out favorite. Any one of those 4, I'd be so happy to go through. They were all really, really cool people and doing incredible work already, but there are 8 more weeks that they're going to have to survive of this unbelievable, this daunting journey before we find out who will take the 2 coveted presenting spots right here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. What an opportunity. So share in this exciting process yourself by voting in the Twitter poll, tuning in tomorrow night, of course, to see who has won your vote. That's only on Presenter Search on 3. The Expresso edition goes out on Wednesday evenings now, live at 7:30 p.m. You can catch the repeat Saturday afternoon at 1 p.m. in the afternoon right here on SABC3, where the stage is yours.
Tell us who you would like to see join the Presenter Search on 3 Top 10. Is it radio presenter and entrepreneur Danny Gaselli, musician and advertising agent Rashen Pillay, TV presenter and MC Kutle Adams, or boxer and radio presenter Zanande Makina? Vote for your favorite on the Presenter Search on 3 Viewers' Choice Twitter poll on twitter.com/be-found-on-3. T's and C's apply and can be found on presentersearchon3.com.
All right, well, the question still stands. Which one of these denim shirts do you want me to wear today, South Africa? Is it going to be the light denim, or is it going to be the more bluer denim? Which one would you like to see me in? I kind of need to get dressed. The show has already begun. I can't do this without you. So head to our poll on Facebook and let me know which one of the 2 you'd prefer.
Get an insurance quote and stand a chance to win one of 6 Samsung S10 smartphones. Simply SMS the keyword INSURE to 31492 for a callback and quote, and you could be a winner.
People and animals, buddy. Get
Thanks
back
so
to
much.
work. There are tons of pretty cool jobs out there, but I think most of us have at least at one point in our lives dreamt of becoming a vet. They're unsung heroes who do so much for those that we care the most about. Our pets literally are our family, and they do an amazing job taking care of them and us at the same time. So I've come to
It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Well,
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast show on this Tuesday morning, and it's a Tuesday for you. Leanne needed some help this morning.
Yes, choosing between the two denims, of course, denim on denim, so hot right now.
What you talking about? What you talking about?
So because I couldn't decide between either the lighter one or the bluer one, I thought to myself to put it out to the fam.
The lighter and the bluer?
The lighter, the bluer, you know, put it out to the fam.
Those are not opposites.
And of course, guess which one they chose?
Did they go for the lighter? No. The bluer one.
This is the one that I was going for because you know what? I wanted to match the two
It flows
together.
a bit more.
Look, this one would have been a vibe.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I kind of feel like I want to keep the blues the same. But the nice thing about denim is you really can match the different colors of denim. Like you've got the more black stone wash one, and then you've got a blue denim. So I think it's pretty cool.
It actually works very well. Yeah, go ahead. Then let's see how you started. Would you roll up the sleeves like that?
I would actually make a little bit of a knot. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that, but I'm going to play around a little bit, maybe add a little bit of a headband.
Okay.
Take it to that whole next level, guys.
Wow.
Denim on denim.
A little bit of grease lightning in you there.
You know.
Okay.
You know.
All right. Well, listen, let's take a quick look at a game review for the day with Gareth Woods and G-Man while Leanne fixes up her outfit. Can't wait to see how it all comes together.
I'm glad you are excited.
I don't know if you can still hear the hail of bullets that brings us in. Time to take control. In fact, that's the title of the game that we're about to review with our good old mate and gaming guru, Mr. Gareth Woods, who's having a lot of fun, dude.
Yeah,
You've got like a bubble of a 4-year-old there with that controller in hand. This looks cool, and she can fly.
You know, a whole bunch of things, yeah.
And with a whole cool range of weapons or ways that you can use this gun. Well, what is going on here? First of all, what game are we playing?
Okay, it's Control, and it's pretty much my sleeper hit for 2019. It kind of came out of nowhere. You know, we'd heard things about it from E3 and all that, but we hadn't really seen too much. It's not one of the, this game is going to be huge and get ready for it type games. It just sort of released, and then the reviews started trickling in. They were all 9s and 10s and all that, and then you start playing the game, you're like, oh, well, were they right? So, yeah.
This was a lot of fun. How does a game like this fly under the radar? Is it in terms of, were there other big games releasing at the same time?
Yeah, I mean, this time of the year is just crazy. It's 2 or 3 big games every single week, and, you know, it is the guys who have the biggest budget to talk about their games end up getting the most press.
Reach. Yeah,
but if your game's good, you're going to sneak through all of that, and this is one of them, yeah.
Wow, she's in control, clearly.
Yeah.
She's got the skills.
Yeah.
Okay, so who are you and what are you doing in this game?
Okay, so it's yeah, without giving too much away, because a lot of the game that makes it so good is the story. And the story's great. It's without giving away too much, you basically arrive at the Federal Bureau of Control, and you know there's this massive shutdown, like kind of lockdown security thing, and you infiltrate your way in to meet the director, who is in control of the service weapon.
I have a director as well.
Yeah. And so the service weapon is your gun. It's and what's really weird about it, it's from another dimension, and it can evolve. So it's the same gun I got here, but it's got like a pistol mode, a sniper rifle mode, all that sort of stuff. So if I switch to
area damage.
Yeah, so I switch to like sniper rifle mode. Here, kind of like I can charge up a bullet there and shoot, as opposed to switching to this is like the kind of machine gun mode. And then when it runs out of ammo, it sort of just recharges after a while. So
just sucks bullets from the other dimension.
100%.
Very, very cool. And
for anyone who played Half-Life, for example, it really feels like a spiritual successor to that kind of, you know, corporate operations. They're doing something a little bit dodgy in another dimension. All of a sudden, something comes through the other side, and you know, you get a glimpse into what that is and the power that it brings. But as you see, you're playing around in an office environment. You're following a lot of the. I mean, here there's like the mail room, and so it literally is like you're playing at a big, massive kind of federal corporation sort of thing.
So you've got a balance. It looks like a lot of fun to play, just the character itself and the dynamic in that. But you've also got a great storyline, figuring things out as you go along. What genre of game would you call this?
So it's like it's definitely a third-person action game in terms of like the style of the game, but then it plays out a lot of the story. If I jump into, for example, the collectibles and that, so you're picking up records of things going on.
Sleuth elements.
But what's great is the way it's done is definitely like corporate memos. So it's like it's sent out like, you know, whoever put all the post-it notes on my desk, will they please cut it out, sort of thing, and like so you're having all this sort of humorous banter going on in between all the FBI.
And I can see every time you move very quickly from something that you might have dropped a clue as to a future thing.
Yeah, I'm trying not to.
Yeah, no, I love that.
But then you've got like multimedia. So, for example, like you're picking up these presentations that this like scientist will, you know, you can jump into any of these at any stage.
Layers.
Yeah,
I'm
so-
loving that. Layers, great visuals.
Yeah, so you're learning
good
about it
action.
through picking up pieces rather than one of these stories where it's like, and now, you know, Johnny went to the next room and there's no like narration. It's picked up through little bits of exposition.
You said 9s and 10s. What would you rate? How would you rate?
Oh, easy 9. This game is really good. It has a little bit of graphical slowdown in some of the high action parts. They might be just on console. I haven't played it on
Buffer-wise,
PC.
yeah.
But otherwise, the play experience is amazing. Story's awesome, and there's a good dose of humor. Yeah.
Wow, man. I'm going to give it a spiritual 10. But so Gareth says maybe fans of Half-Life might love it. But I think this opens up a plethora of new, wonderful gaming opportunities all wrapped in one bundle. You take control of control. Awesome, man.
So from the latest in gaming to the latest in the world of technology, let's quickly give you an update on some of the most exciting stories that we've spotted out there. By the way, you look lovely.
Thank you, thank you. It's nice to be dressed.
Yeah.
I was feeling a little bit like, but
Yeah?
now I'm like, I'm here, I've arrived.
The bow not doing the things?
No, I just felt like I was still half naked.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I thought you were going to do the bow, though. I was looking forward to it. Okay, in other news, let's talk about what Google is doing. They've
would love
announced
to.
that they won't be running ads anymore for dangerous, quote, unproven or experimental medical techniques, following what the company describes as a rise in bad actors marketing untested procedures like stem cell therapy, cellular therapy, and gene therapy. Now, untested stem cell therapy has led to severe blindness in some cases for some patients, and unfortunately, the entire field is still largely unregulated, and the science very much unproven so far. So while Google specifically calls out stem cell therapy and other similar forms of treatment, the new policy would seem to apply to all untested treatments, not just these specific fields. So then Google will still allow ads to promote research along with clinical trials, so long as they follow the rest of the rules in Google's healthcare and medicine advertisement policy. So some real stern steps being taken over there, because this is people's lives we're talking about.
100%.
Yeah.
But how about this story? The Chicago-based biotech company known as BioLife 4D announced this week that it has successfully 3D bioprinted a mini human heart. Come on now. Now, the tiny heart has the same structure as a full-sized heart, and the company says it's an important milestone in the push to create an artificial heart viable for transplant. Now, the heart was printed with patient-derived cardiac muscle cells, or cardiomyocytes, and bio-ink made from extracellular matrix compounds that replicate the properties of the mammalian heart. Now, eventually, the company hopes to bioprint a full-sized, functioning human heart, which, of course, is going to be the end goal. But now, it's quite incredible that they are doing this, and, of course, it's to reduce or eliminate the need for donor organs, which is massive. I mean, if you're needing a heart and there's no viable one for you, this could potentially change everything.
Yeah, I mean, very recently
yeah.
we spoke about the fact that, especially on the African continent, in South Africa, the registry for organ donors is very, very limited. And of course, even when you do have somebody who might donate a heart to you, there's about, you know, the size matching, the genetic matching, the blood type matching. So if just by using certain components of stem cells, if the technology is far enough, collaborating with this kind of company, BioLife 4D, printing an exact match heart for you, that's extraordinary. That's how technology should be used.
I get excited.
Life.
Exactly. Not just the robots that's just going to replace you. Oh, shame.
This look is doing things for you, eh?
So?
It's adding some
Spice.
personality. It's doing the things. You're still not going to do the bow, though?
Hey, I'll do the bow. Oh, my goodness.
I just
I'll
really
do the
dig
bow
the
for
bow. I was
you.
really looking
I'll
forward
do
to
the
seeing
bow
what it
for
looks
you.
like. Okay, cool.
Okay.
While Leanne does the bow, let's do the ad break.
My name is Pesi Khivazi. I'm a TV presenter. You might recognize me from Selimatunzi. I'm also an actor, model, and everything awesome. I can't wait to be on the island. I've never been on an island like this before. I just want to swim and be there for as long as I possibly can, which means I am definitely going to win this one. Mango peach is my favorite flavor simply because it takes me back to when I was a child and I used to get it on occasion, but now I can have it all the time. To join me on the island to find fame and fortune, all you have to do is go buy yourself a bottle of Tropica and follow all the entry details. Take a video of yourself explaining why you would be my ideal partner. All you have to do is hashtag TIOT9 and upload that on all of your social media platforms. When you send your audition clip, remember to always remain confident and know exactly what you want to say. And me and you could be on the island together competing to win R1 million. Join me on the island and come find your smooth fame and fortune on Tropical Island of Treasure, Carousel.
Give me 30 seconds to get upstairs. Hey y'all. Okay, we're waiting for the mic's cue.
Get out of bed. There'll be no more nappy. It's a fresh box.
Well, guys, we get started?
Yep.
Ready?
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for tuning in. You are undoubtedly the most important part of this conversation, of this dynamic, and we want you to really focus on what we're talking about right now, especially if you are focused on your family. Now, with recent headlines, we've seen that violence against women remains a major, probably the biggest issue for our country right now, with the rate of sexual violence against women and children reportedly amongst the highest in the world, and that's what's being reported. This morning, we are joined in the lounge by a good friend of ours, a family therapist and registered social worker, Kim Abrams, here to give us some advice on how parents can talk to their child about a very difficult topic, sexual harassment. This is vital. Kim, welcome.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I think part of what makes it so difficult, Kim, is the fact that ideally we wouldn't want to be raising our children in a society or a world where these kinds of things are prevalent.
Exactly.
But unfortunately, it is the reality, and we do want to keep our children safe. So when we talk about sexual harassment. Just give us a brief description of what it is that we are talking about.
Okay, so I try to link it a lot to bullying. This is unwanted behavior. It's not just about physical touching. So it's much more than that. Sexual harassment is unwanted behavior that is physical, verbal, or even non-verbal. So gestures or, you know, making comments or, you know, with your body and things like that. So it's unwanted behavior that a person is a victim of.
That's having an impact.
Yeah.
Maybe a good place to start is to ask a question. I know that so few cases are actually reported that it's very difficult to know this, but from your perspective, your experience, how prevalent is sexual harassment, specifically when we focus on younger people, on girls and boys?
I mean, the statistics are really scary. It's 1 in 4 girls would have been sexually assaulted or harassed before their 18th birthday. And we know that 1 in 6 boys, it's the same, would also have been sexually harassed or assaulted before their 18th birthday. But statistics often underreport because they rely on people coming forward and sharing their experiences. So we actually think it's much higher, perhaps 1 in 3 girls and 1 in 5 boys.
Yeah. And what kind of psychological impact does this have on an individual who has experienced sexual harassment?
So it's, you know, the effects of it are long-standing. It's not something a child can get over even in adulthood. So the sense of shame and guilt that overcomes a child who's been a victim of sexual assault or harassment, it's long-standing. So we see that children, as they grow up into adulthood, will increase the likelihood of misusing substances, so drugs and alcohol. Suicidal rates increase, anxiety and depression increases, but it's the sense of guilt and shame that a child feels because they often don't know whether they were the cause of it or not. And we know that they're not, but children don't have that ability to separate themselves from the perpetrator.
I mean, an adult doesn't have the emotional tools to be able to discern and to navigate a situation like that. So how can you expect a child to be able to? I think from a parent's perspective, my first thought is, how do we preemptively protect our child? What tools can we do? How do we even start that conversation to make them more aware without tarnishing their perception on the world, because they are children. They have childlike perceptions of the world, but we need to protect our children.
We do, and I try to flip it on its head and say to parents, think of safety talks as empowering your child. You're not going to scare them. Well, your response and the way you share it might scare them, but think of it as you are going to empower your child, so you're going to teach them safety first. So from about 4 years old, your child should know, you know, this is my body, no means no.
This is not allowed.
Yeah, and then as they become older, you start teaching them about consent. But the reality is that you're never too young to be a victim of sexual assault and harassment. So conversations need to start early and often. It's not a one-off conversation you're going to have with your child. This conversation has to carry on all the way through to their adolescence.
And like you say, it's a conversation that needs to happen as early as possible, because some of our youngest in our communities are exposed to
are most at risk
and most at risk of experiencing these horrific atrocities against them. We're going to take a break from this in a moment, but do throw your questions to us, and of course to Kim as well, on our social media pages, especially on Expresso Morning Show SABC3 on Facebook. Maybe tell us how you are going about teaching your child about sexual harassment, teaching them how to recognize that their body is a part of them that they need to take ownership of, and how do they know the signs that they are being mistreated, violated? How do you get them to speak to you? Because oftentimes I think that's one of the most difficult things. After something has happened, the most important
next step.
A child doesn't know how to speak to a parent or to a teacher to let them know that something has gone wrong. And this is why we are focusing on this today. And as Kim just aptly said, that some of the consequences going later on in life would result in something like suicide. And with today being World Suicide Awareness Day, these are things that we're trying to prevent that cause so many more problems in our society. So hit us up on Facebook and we'll connect with you very shortly.
Clover Good Hope Soy Milk. Soy goodness naturally. Made with love by Clover.
Made with love by Clover.
Well, it's slowly getting warmer outside, and that means that we're getting closer and closer to I scream, you scream, we all scream for
ice cream.
Oh, go team.
Yes.
Thought you were going to leave me hanging there for a second.
Never leave you hanging, Leanne.
Wow.
Never.
We are making some refreshing Clover Good Hope soy ice lollies today, and you're absolutely going to love this because not only is it delicious,
yes,
good for you,
yes,
but you're going to love putting it together.
It's nutritious.
Are you ready?
It's delicious.
Are you ready?
I'm so
okay.
ready.
So for this recipe, you're going to need some banana. All right.
Banana.
You're also going to need some cocoa powder, some honey. You're going to need some, of course, the pièce de résistance, the Clover Good Hope soy. This time we're using chocolate milk.
Lovely.
And we've got some coconut cream. We've got some melted chocolate over here.
So chocolatey.
And hundreds and thousands. So I'm going to put it together.
What does pièce de résistance mean?
It's just, you know, the main event, you know?
Yeah?
Yeah.
The main event?
Basically.
Cool.
The main dish, not the side dish.
I'm going to throw that into like everything that I say today.
Pièce de
Ladies and gentlemen,
résistance.
we are here. Welcome to the pièce de résistance.
Of course, darling.
Absolutely
It's the moment
fantastic.
we've all been waiting for, basically. All right. So we're going to put our banana in here. And the nice thing is with this recipe, if you want your basically your recipe to be thicker, all you'll do is you'll add more banana.
More banana.
All right.
Okay.
Oh, there goes one.
Don't waste the pièce de résistance.
Waste not, want not.
Okay, what would be the one before the main event? If that's the pièce de résistance.
The side event.
But what's the fancy word for it?
Hey?
What's the fancy word?
non-pièce de résistance.
It's absolutely delicious in my
Yes, darling.
mouth.
Do you have anything that you'd like to say about this recipe?
I think you're doing a wonderful job in the way that you've explained it, and especially the triple element of chocolate that I've noticed, because you've got the cocoa powder, you've got the melted chocolate, and then of course the pièce de résistance, which is of course our Good Hope soy milk chocolate flavor, which is wonderful because it's lactose free, it's cholesterol free, preservative free,
just add a little bit of salt.
Okay, for the flavoring.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that's going to enhance the flavor.
Salt enhances the flavor.
Absolutely, and the fact that it is lactose free means you can have loads and loads of it without feeling bloated and uncomfortable with all those stomach pains and cramps. Leave those behind. The fact that it is soy means it's vegan friendly and contains a lot of vitamins and minerals as well. All right, that looks good. So SMS the keyword Clover to 33728 and we'll send you a link to the recipe. There we go. Bust it down. Bust it down, Leanne. Bust it down. Bust it down, Leanne. Yeah, okay, good stuff.
Alrighty.
Good stuff.
Ooh, okay. All right. So
you can even just have it just like that, and it could be like a soy shake.
Yes, exactly. And like I said, if you want it to be just a little bit thicker, all you have to do is just, add some banana. So we're going to put it into our ice lolly molds,
nice
not
and thick
too
still.
full. There we go. And once it is refrigerated and frozen, you are going to take it out of these molds.
Good.
There we go. And then...
This is... Oh, my gosh.
It's good, huh? It's
Yeah.
Put our
So then you're going to get it in there, like that?
So once it comes out of the freezer, it's going to look like this, right?
Yeah. You should probably like adjust it halfway through once the lolly starts to set a little bit. Oh, well,
But
actually,
we finished with that part now.
No, but wait.
Yeah.
When you are just putting in the stick and then you're going like this and then the stick, you don't want that. You want it to be nice and straight, just like that.
Good luck with that.
Fantastic.
Right,
okay,
cool.
now.
There's your one.
Okay.
All right, so now what we're going to do is we're just going to dip it in the chocolate
Dip it in the chocolate.
Oh, it's looking good.
I'll hold on to that.
And then you just sprinkle it with some hundreds and thousands.
Yes.
How much fun is this?
Okay, so you actually got to swirl it, because if you don't swirl it, then it kind of isolates the chocolate from the
Swirl-cos.
Look at that! Oh, what a beautiful lolly. Okay, I'm struggling a little bit. There we
Exactly. Are you done?
And then, not yet. Just give us a chance there, would you? Okay, and then you give it a bit of a dip there. You make it look like it's kissed the 100th and thousands.
Oh, wow. Beautiful, huh?
If you look at it like this, it actually looks like it's got its own hair with a hat on, kind of thing. Just use your imagination. You know what I mean? Look, there's the hair, like a comb to the side, and then...
Okay, well, if you'd like to see how we made this one more time, take a look at this.
Imagination, guys. Look, you can see it, right?
Creamy and wholesome, but with an indulgent edge, these Clover Good Hope soy ice lollies make for the perfect frozen treat. To start off, add 500 ml of Clover Good Hope soy milk chocolate flavor to a blender. Next, pour in 250 ml of coconut cream. Add 1 tablespoon cocoa powder. And blend until well incorporated. To the blended mixture, add 4 peeled bananas. Drizzle over 2 tablespoons of honey and sprinkle in half a teaspoon of salt. Blend again until smooth. Pour the blended mixture into ice lolly molds and insert wooden lolly sticks. Set in the freezer overnight. Once the ice lollies are set, drizzle melted chocolate over the top of the ice lollies to make drips. Sprinkle over hundreds and thousands to garnish before the chocolate sets. These ice lollies are guaranteed to be popular amongst children and adults alike, so enjoy.
Made with love by Clover.
Yeah, that's right. That's Clover to 33728. We'll gladly send you the ingredients list and the link to the recipe.
Yeah.
And you could be making these yummy soy, Good Hope soy ice lollies yourself.
Do you know how many vitamins are in this?
Hey, it's just... it's
Give
good.
me a guess. How many do you think there are?
A lot.
No, like give me a... That's not a number.
20.
20. Okay, maybe that's a bit of an overshoot. But no, look, like vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin B2, B6, B12, there's calcium, there's chromium, selenium, potassium, iron, phosphorus. It's so many vitamins. That's nearly 20, actually. You were right.
I know. I told you.
Yeah.
Should we invite our colleague in?
Let's have a taste first, and then Kulecha will come during the... Oh, that crunch. You got that crunch, girl. Yes.
Clover Good Hope Soy Milk. Soy goodness naturally. Made with love by Clover.
Made with love by Clover.
Oh, wait, I've written the head. Kom, collega. Kom eet 'n bietjie roomys lollies saam met ons.
Is this the piece which has resistance?
This is the piece of least resistance.
It's the piece which has, according to Wiki, it's the piece which has staying power.
Oh, really?
That's it, man. Oh, mine.
So good.
Mine doesn't look like a hat. Mine looks like long flowing locks.
Yeah.
Let's talk
Hey, can
in
I
more
try?
tasting.
Yeah, it's good. How's that? How's that?
That buyer.
You're my threshold.
Yo, Leanne does not play when it comes to chocolate lollies.
Hey, I love me some chocolate though.
You started like 10 seconds ago, now it's nearly done.
I don't play.
That's,
But it's
you know
like-
there's more, right?
There's like 3 levels of crunch as well.
Absolutely. Leanne knows all
Little
about
crunch.
those 3 levels of crunch because she
Big
just
crunch.
spares them in one crunch.
Oh,
You see, you can have all the rest of that,
he's
Leanne.
resisting me.
Yeah, you can have all of that.
Oh, thank you.
The rest of it. What? Hey!
I took his hair.
Wow, Leanne.
Can make my day.
What? Juicy bit? Juicy bit, yeah? Yeah. Yeah, juicy bit. We're going to do the staggered spins, yeah? Okay. Juicy bit, guys.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. This is your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It is a Tuesday morning, and thank you very, very much for joining us. So good to be in your company. Now, earlier on in the show this morning, family therapist and registered social worker Kim Abrams joined us on in the lounge to give us advice on how parents can talk to their child about sexual harassment. And we continue that very important conversation right now with her. And of course, we welcome all of your questions, which Kim will try to field as many as possible and hopefully engage with you also after the show, because this is a very, very important topic to talk about, especially in light of what's been happening in our country. Something that's been happening for a long time, but now, of course, has been put into the spotlight, and a chance for us as a country to self-correct.
Yeah,
To find a way in
recalibrate,
which we
for
can
completely.
protect our women and children.
And to have the conversation on a broader scale, have it within our families, as a parent to child, and as a child to parent.
Yeah.
We obviously make the association with young women, especially with girls. But I have to ask, when it comes to boys, you've mentioned a statistic, but how prevalent is sexual harassment when it comes to young boys, and does it carry a different kind of form? You likened it to bullying earlier in terms of its nature, and not necessarily something that's happening, a direct physical touch, but a behavioral pattern. how prevalent is sexual harassment within young boys specifically, and does it carry a different form, if that's a rational question?
No, it is very prevalent. I think it's a myth to think that young boys or men can't be victims of sexual harassment or assault. They can, anybody can. This isn't necessarily such a gender-specific issue as it is a human issue. So, you know, we're in a society where we're raising boys, you know, don't cry, be strong, and, you know, you are in charge. So boys don't often feel able to come forward to report that they've been victims of it, because it's often linked to the messages we're instilling in them, and also linked to shame. So it's a myth to think that, you know, a boy can't be a victim.
Safe.
Yeah.
Let's talk, I mean, for those who didn't watch earlier on, just re-emphasize again, when is the right time to start having that first conversation about sexual harassment? And then also how to begin the foundation, laying down the foundation for what will eventually be that talk. Because obviously there are different times when a child just starts to develop the concept of understanding words, and then you use that time to teach them about their body. Let's go through that process as detailed as possible.
Okay, so from about 2 years old, I would say, you know, you need to start, bath time is a great time to actually start teaching a child their body is their body, because it's actually quite a private event, but as a parent, you're in charge of it.
Okay.
So, you know, you can start teaching them to be independent, washing themselves, and letting them know, you know, your body is your body, nobody's allowed to touch it. The little messages you keep giving as they become older, they then start repeating it, and then they start to understand it. So we lay the foundation in quite a small way when they are very little. And then as they're getting to about 4 years old, again, you want to start teaching them about consent. So what happens if somebody touches you? What do you do? You know, and you're encouraging them to come forward to tell you about it. Because the worst thing we can do is have our children feel like they can't come to us if they've been victims, or worse yet, come to us if maybe they've harmed another child or another person. So that's why it's so important for parents to have these conversations. So from about their primary school years age, about 6 years old onwards, they're able to think more abstractly. So they will then know no means no, why it means no, and why it's wrong. And then that way we're empowering our children. And so by adolescence, the conversation changes again. You've already laid the foundation, but now you're talking about what a healthy relationship is, how to keep themselves safe. It's about empowering your child. It's not a conversation that has to be scary. Of course, it's going to be uncomfortable, but think about it. You are instilling in your child the values and the safety skills that they need. It's just the reality of the life we're living now.
Yeah. And maybe a good place to start is with your partner, if you are in a relationship, is to talk about it with each other first, to be able to understand it, because these are very deep, dark, complex issues that we probably carry a lot of baggage around as adults. Maybe to wrap it up, because I'm thinking you almost want it to be a daily conversation, not necessarily about this particular topic, but opening that line of communication so that your child feels comfortable talking to you about anything. What final piece of advice do you have?
You know, I would say that we need to empower our children to use their voice, and we need to understand that sexual harassment is not a female issue. This is a human issue and a human fight that we need to fight for each other. We need both genders involved. So we need parents to realize the reality of the life we're living in is that we have to have these conversations early. We want children to feel safe. We want them to know what to do when they're not feeling safe. We also want them to be able to speak up for others, especially, you know, boys and girls.
Yeah. That's some great advice, and thank you very much for helping us to unpack an otherwise very difficult topic and conversation to have. We know, and it occurs on so many different levels at home, and the need for us, as we said earlier on, given what's been happening in our country, what is prevalent throughout the world, and that's becoming more and more prevalent because the reports are coming in and we're finding out what the reality is on the ground. We need, as a country, to self-correct, to understand where it all emanates from, and of course, if you'd like to engage with Kim a little bit later on, you can do so on social media. Are you available to take questions on social media?
Absolutely. Here to help. So
Excellent
happy to answer questions and comments.
Fantastic.
Well, talking about social media and questions and comments, earlier this morning we posted a question on Facebook asking you, from your perspective as a son, a daughter, or even a parent, what is the most difficult conversation that you could have with your family? And let's go to some of the answers. Renita says, to talk to my daughter about sex, I just don't feel comfortable. I think many parents would agree with that. Josephine Pickstone says, good morning. My family never really has difficult discussions, or discussions are very open. It comes naturally always, because we can talk about anything from sex with my teenagers and much, much more. And then finally, Samula Kiswe says, hi fam, you're looking good as always. Thank you so much, my darling. She says, I think the most difficult conversation to have with family, being a parent myself, is the discussion regarding gender violence. How do you explain to your child that they must trust no one? Literally. Wow. Thank you so much for those comments. You can keep them coming. From your perspective as a son, daughter, or parent, what is the most difficult conversation you can have with your family? We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back after these.
What's up guys, this is Ndando Duma. I'm a media personality, a TV presenter, actress and a mother. Join me on the island, buy a Tropica bottle and see entry details on the bottle. Upload a video of yourself telling me why you'd be my ideal partner on Facebook, Instagram or Twitter, and the hashtag is TIOT9. Join me on the island and come find your smooth fame and fortune on Tropica Island of Treasure, Carousel.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Happy birthday, a very happy birthday to you.
Feel it. Feel it in your bones. Shake it out. It's your birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Yes, today, the 10th of September, is your special day. And so we'd love to wish you a happy birthday, because you've got friends and loved ones and family who have sent through dedications to you. And so it's our turn to make you shine on national television.
Yeah, let's dive right in. A happy second, brace for the cuteness. Happy second birthday to my nephew Peter. You're such a blessing to us. May God bless you with many beautiful birthdays. That's from Deepak and Granny Marla. Happy birthday, young'un. Then happy 47th birthday to the most amazing person in my life, Naomi. I love you more than words can express. I hope that you have a truly magical day. You don't look a day older than 30, and that's from your boyfriend, Remy. I'll say happy birthday, young'un, again.
Beautiful, beautiful stuff. Happy 40th birthday, Megan. You are my pride and joy. I wish you every success in life. Remember, 40 is fabulous, and you don't look a day over 20. That's Megan, a nice one. Enjoy your day, and may it be a special one, and as special as you. Lots of love, Mom. Okay, then a happy second birthday to my adoptive baby girl, Lee Hayden Boertes Holland. You bring so much joy to us. Ma Josie and Pa Wendell love you dearly. Look at that smile.
Exploding with love and joy. Love it. Then wishing Dashranique Fananesta happy birthday. We love you very much, and that's from your mom, Ulrika, Cassie, Kez, and Kay. Happy birthday, Dashranique. And then we wish our mother, Phoebe Greef, a happy 54th birthday. Enjoy your day. We love you so much. That's from your children and your grandchildren. Happy birthday, Phoebes.
Absolutely. That is to Phoebe. Then we're wishing our son, Tashwell, a happy 6th birthday. May the Almighty keep you alive and healthy. Love from Mom and Dad, Chad, Opa, Mama, Nana, Gardu, and Titi. Oh, what a cute message there. And then happy birthday to our our son, Ronald Johnson. You are a treasure from above and bring us so much joy and love. Have a wonderful and awesome and blessed day. This is with love from Dad, Mom, Melissa, Ben, and Mia. And he never walks alone.
Never does, indeed. Then every day you grow into a smart, young, and intelligent little boy. Liam, we love you. Hope you have an awesome 9th birthday, Liam. We are so proud of you. Love, Baba. And then Kyle, you are so hardworking and lovable. Everyone is always drawn to you. You make us scream with laughter. You're a cricketer, singer, a boy with so many talents. We love you, and that's from your dad, your mom, and your sister, Chloe. Happy birthday.
Is it just me or does Kyle look like a future Protea?
Yeah, man.
He looks like a future Protea. It's happening, boys.
And
it's happening.
He's got his little school bag there. He's ready for the next class. He's ready for the next subject.
Shirt
He's just going to
neatly
crush it.
pressed, crisp white. Happy birthday to my friend Shirley Zazana. May God grant you many more years to come and all the good things your heart desires. This is from Peliwe Tentane. So Shirley, a happy birthday to you from your friend.
Happy birthday, Cheryl. Excuse us
Cheryl girl.
if we've given you a nickname. Okay, it's just because we love you, like your family loves you. And if you really do love someone who's celebrating their birthday tomorrow, send us a video right now, 15-second video of you singing happy birthday. You can even sing to yourself if you want.
Yeah.
Send it to 071-640-6551. That's the WhatsApp line, or you can just email us, birthdays@cordova.tv.
Absolutely. And if it is your special day, happy birthday.
In the national news this morning, KwaZulu-Natal police say they have opened an inquest docket into the death of KZN University student Natasha Konabia, who was found at the weekend dumped unconscious outside her house after being reported missing 3 weeks ago. The 23-year-old was then rushed to a Durban hospital where she received treatment in the ICU, but passed away. KZN police say that they were still waiting for post-mortem results to reveal what had happened to her. This as there was an outpouring of grief in South Africa during the past week against gender violence. The Minister of International Relations, Naledi Pandor, says the government will take the necessary steps to tackle the scourge of attacks on foreign nationals. She was speaking after meeting with ambassadors that have representation in South Africa in Pretoria. Pandor said the government would also implement measures that will prevent similar attacks in the future. She said the government is taking all the measures that it can to ensure that the country returns to stability and calm. Now moving further abroad, angry fans of Sierra Leone's national football team have attacked a player's house after he missed a decisive penalty. Captain Umaru Bangura failed to convert a stoppage time spot kick in front of a huge crowd against Liberia on Sunday. It meant that Sierra Leone failed to go through to the next stage of the 2022 World Cup qualifiers. The windows and doors of his residence in the capital Freetown were left badly damaged. Even a song mocking his penalty miss has been released. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said yesterday that Iran had been developing nuclear weapons at a secret site near the city of Abbey, but Tehran destroyed the facility after learning that it had been exposed. It was the first time Netanyahu had identified the site, which he said was discovered in a trove of Iranian documents Israel previously obtained. Meanwhile, North Korea said that it was now willing to restart nuclear talks with the United States, but warned that chances of a deal could end unless Washington takes a fresh approach. And finally, in the wake of Hurricane Dorian, the Category 5 hurricane that devastated the northwestern Bahamas, damaged the southeastern USA and Atlantic Canada, causing 30 deaths and leaving some 70,000 people homeless, people are opening their hearts and wallets. One of them is actor, filmmaker and comedian Tyler Perry, who's using his personal jet to fly relief supplies to the Abaco Islands, an area hardest hit by Hurricane Dorian. His plane has already made 2 trips and he has several more shipments of water, juice, diapers, sleeping bags, etc. due soon. And an anonymous man in Florida walked into his local hardware store and purchased 100 generators, all of which are heading to the Bahamas. He had a bill for almost $50,000. Well, that was your 7 o'clock news update. Here's another look at what's happening in the world of sport with Graham.
We We kick it off with the continuation of a tragic story in rugby this week. The funeral of Springbok legend Chester Williams, who passed away last Friday due to a suspected heart attack, will take place at the Newlands Rugby Stadium this coming Saturday, kicking off at noon. Williams was, of course, part of the now iconic 1995 Rugby World Cup winning squad, playing 27 tests for the Boks, scoring 14 very memorable tries. Most recently, Williams was the head coach of the University of the Western Cape's rugby team. They will have their own memorial service at 1 p.m. at the main campus in Belleville on Wednesday. Then continuing with rugby news, confidence boost ahead of the World Cup. For the first time in history, Ireland has climbed to the top of the world rugby rankings, knocking New Zealand to second. While South Africa moves up to fourth after beating Japan over the weekend. So Ireland claimed a 19-10 win over Wales on Saturday and will head into the 2019 Rugby World Cup in Japan in that top spot. A defeat to the Irish has now seen Wales swap with the Springboks and sit in fifth place on the table. Then on to cricket. Sine Lewis will lead the Proteas women's cricket team. That's for their tour of India, scheduled to take place from the 19th of this month. Lewis will be standing in for regular captain Danae van Niekerk, who's out with an injury. It's unclear whether van Niekerk will be fit to play again soon after she suffered a stress fracture to her femur earlier this year. The tour of India will run up until the 14th of October and will consist of 5 T20 international matches and 3 one-day internationals. And then we rounded off with some great news. Bianca Buitendag, a regular on the show, has now just won bronze at the 2019 ISA World Surfing Games in Japan. Provisionally qualified for the 2020 Tokyo Olympics as well as the highest placed African female in surfing. So congratulations to her. What an incredible day for surfing. Of course, it's time for Geordie today, so we'll be holding thumbs. More on all of those stories on the top of the hour.
Take a look at what's happening on our roads this morning, starting off with Bedford View in Gauteng. On the N3 northbound, there has been a multi-vehicle accident before the Geldenhuys interchange, obstructing the left lane, so please approach with caution. Now heading over to the Western Cape at Durbanville, there's protest action on the R302 highway. This is between Philadelphia Road and Klipheuwel Road. The road is currently closed in both directions due to tires set alight and stones obstructing the road, so please use an alternative route this morning. And then finally, at Metro Rail on the Central Line, as from the T9501 inbound and outbound at Captain's Clip, the trains will terminate at Philippi due to signal equipment failure at Captain's Clip. Now, commuters are advised to make use of an alternative mode of transport between Philippi and Captain's Clip. Well, that was your traffic details. Let's find out what's happening in the weather.
Don't fear the flu. Boost your immune system with Effaflu-C Immune Booster by Pharmadynamics. Effective, affordable healthcare.
As always, we've asked you to send through your beautiful sunrise pictures, so thank you so much to all of you who did. Filani Feli sent us his sunrise from Lepalele where partly cloudy conditions can be expected with a couple of showers towards the evening, reaching a maximum of 35 degrees today. And then our very own Katlego Mabue sent us his sunrise picture from the Seychelles. No, he's not there right now, but if you are in the area, plenty of sunshine can be expected with hot temperatures, little to no wind, reaching a maximum of 32 degrees. So basically paradise. But let's see what the temperatures have in store for you in your neck of the woods. Polokwane, your low 8 going up to 28 degrees. Mbombela 10 and 27 your range. Plenty of sunshine for Pretoria. 10 degrees your low going up to 29 degrees. Johannesburg 10 and 26 your range for the day. Mahikeng 9 your low going up to 29 degrees. Klerksdorp 6 and 28 your range. Kimberley 7 your low going up to 29 degrees. Lowest temperature in the country, Bloemfontein, but we are seeing it rise just a little, 4 degrees your minimum going up to 28. Richards Bay 17 and 28. Then high humidity expected for Pietermaritzburg, where your low is 11 going up to 29 degrees. A northeasterly wind of 17 k's an hour in Durbs, where your minimum is 16 going up to a max of 25. Mthatha ranging between 9 and 32 degrees. East London, your low 16, a high of 28. Then the highest temperature in the country, Craddock, your low 7, but going up to 35 degrees. Season has effectively changed now. Port Elizabeth 16 your low, 26 your high. George 14 and 23. Northwesterly winds of around 22 kilometers an hour expected in Sutherland, where your low is 8 and a max of 25 degrees. Cape Town, 13 your low, going up to a high of 20. Then as we move inland, high humidity for Worcester, 13 your low, going up to 27 degrees, with a bit of cloud cover there. Likewise in Springbok, where your minimum is 9, going up to 27 degrees. Uppington, 11 degrees and a high of 32 degrees. Please keep those sunrise pictures coming. You can post them on our Facebook page. But as always, regardless of the weather or the temperature, have a beautiful day. Now I want to brace yourself for the earplugs. It's time to stomp.
Yeah, we certainly are about to stomp on this Tuesday morning. From London and Paris to Las Vegas and New York, Stomp makes music with brooms, matchboxes, hands and feet, poles, chairs, sinks, basketballs, newspapers, and so much more, reaching its climax with an exhilarating trademark bins routine, where metal trash cans become drums and dustbin lids become combat shields. Sounds very exciting, right? Let's take a sneak peek at Stomp. I mean, what more do you want? Yes, of course you want to see the whole show, but that was just a sneak peek to tantalize your taste buds. And joining us in studio is rehearsal director from Stomp, Phil Batchelor, and one of the performers, Cammie Griffin. Great to have you both here. Welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Phil, to you, welcome back, right?
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's a pleasure.
You were here in 2010 when the show first came.
I was,
to
yeah.
South Africa.
A long time ago, it feels like now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Cammie, this is your first time?
It's my first time in South Africa, and I love it.
I'm glad. So the show has been running at the Monte Cassino Teatro, and now you bring it to Cape Town to the Artscape, and it runs until the 15th. Tonight is show number 1. Firstly, tell me about how the run was in Johannesburg, how the crowds were, how did they receive it, how's it been?
It's been great, yeah. We've been in South Africa now for 3 weeks, and we had some really great crowds in Johannesburg. Everyone was really up for the show, bringing the energy to the show, which is really good for us. We feed off that energy. It's kind of a reciprocal thing that we have in the show as well. Yeah. So, you know, the louder people are that come to see the show, the more energy they give us, the more we give back. So we're hoping for that in Cape Town too.
Absolutely. And just as a warm-up, by the way, they climbed up Table Mountain yesterday.
Yeah. We landed and then climbed.
Just to make sure the blood is flowing nicely. So what can people expect from Stomp this time round when they come to the show?
High energy, of course. There's new numbers in the show that weren't there last time that we were here. So always there's crowd participation, and it's good for kids and people of all ages. So from like 3 and up, or you can be, it doesn't matter. This show relates to everybody. So just come and enjoy it. Everybody relates to rhythm, and that's what we're about.
Absolutely. And the show was critically acclaimed back in 2010 when it came around here. Everyone raved about it. They still are raving about it. I think purely because of the magic that it provides on the stage, the use of just such innovative ways of using brooms and matchboxes and all the many things that I mentioned that you use as instruments. Tell me, what does it take to put a show like this together? I mean, do you just like walk around and you look for the closest thing that can make a noise and you think, okay, I'll take that and put it into the show? What does it take to put a show like this together?
The show itself is written by the creative directors that wrote the show, Luke Cresswell and Steve McNicholas, and they used to be in a street performance band back in the 90s, and they had an idea of, you know, instead of taking instruments with us to perform with, why don't we try and like make music out of the things we have around us? And that kind of like concept, that idea, led to I think bins in the first place. We can use trash cans as drums, and then that led on to what else can we make music with? Yeah. And that's the kind of thing, you know, like music is everywhere around us. Like anywhere that you go, you can hear like little things that make different sounds, and everyone can relate to rhythm in some kind of way.
Absolutely.
And then we use that, and we apply rhythm to these kind of things that you would see in everyday life, like trolleys and bottles and boxes, and we apply rhythm to those, and we make these like intricate pieces of music with them.
Like water cooler chats now at the office are going to be so interesting when you see your colleague just like, hey, so how was yesterday?
Good.
Yes, that was my audition. audition. I'm joking. But so once the show is rewritten, because I said like 2010, you guys were here and you're back now. So essentially a new show with some new numbers, new choreographies. How long does it take to put the show together? Tell me about the rehearsal times and picking the cast and making sure that everyone is ready.
Well, I don't pick the cast myself. We have a casting director for that. But yeah, it takes a lot of preparation. It takes a lot of rehearsal time. When we actually we all audition to become part of the show.
Yeah.
So we go through a whole audition process. And once you're actually chosen to become part of a group that trains to learn the show, it takes about six weeks to 2 months of learning how to do the show every day. We break it down step by step, piece by piece, bang by bang. And
wow.
We learn it as like that.
Kemi, I mean, you're one of the new cast members, is that?
No.
But I mean, as
I'm not.
In terms of like 2010, remember that's my reference in terms of.
2010, I was on the US tour.
Okay, you were on the US tour.
Yes.
Because I wanted to find out what was your audition like. Like you walk in there and obviously you've got rhythm, you're a dancer.
It's like a workshop, really.
Yeah.
You don't have to have a rhythmic background. Like we have people from all walks of life, from a restaurant waiter to like just different things. You just have to have a sense of rhythm.
Okay.
And it's like a workshop. They teach us. We have a number in the show called Hands and Feet, and what they do is they'll teach us the rhythm, and then they'll ask us to do a 4-bar solo as well.
Oh my
and
word!
So, yeah. And some people come with a tap dancing background, so they'll do their solo as a tap dancing. Some people have body percussion, so they'll do body percussion. Some people have beatboxing, so they'll do a beatboxing solo. So they just want to see what you can bring to the show during the audition.
Brilliant. And the show has been watched by so many celebrities across the world, and they've loved it. What do you think is it that's so exciting, has made the show the great success that it is?
To me, I don't know for Phil, but to me, I think it's just it's a universal language.
Yeah.
It can be relatable all over. There's no language barrier. We can travel with the show anywhere. And then also people forget to realize that you are born with your own rhythm. Your heartbeat is your rhythm. So everybody can relate to rhythm. And I think that's why this show can just travel and go anywhere, because everyone can relate to it.
I love it. I love it. And hopefully all you Cape Townians, beautiful Cape Townians, will be filling up the artscape. The show runs from tonight until the 15th of September. That was rhythm as well. Tickets costing between 150 and 400 Rand. So do check them out. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, the cast will be here to give us a tease of what you can expect. Hold this. This is my audition. Are you guys ready?
Yeah,
ready.
ready.
I've been preparing for this for like since 2010. Here we go.
I think most of us have at least at one point in our lives dreamt of becoming a vet. They're unsung heroes who do so much for those that we care the most about. Our pets literally are our family. Make you feel quite happy.
Seven are cool guys after this interview. It's actually performance.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It's Expresso right here on SABC3. Now today we're talking about IBS, also known as spastic colon. Irritable bowel syndrome can be painful, it can be uncomfortable and tricky to manage no matter what you call it. That's why we have dietitian Megan Pence-Clates from Be Well, and she's here this morning to explain a bit on how nutrition can help the condition, because we all know IBS is not a vibe.
It's not a vibe.
Morning, Megan. How are you?
Good, and you?
I'm good, thanks, Megan. Thank you so much for joining us. IBS, I mean, it comes in varying forms and degrees. It's a bit of a spectrum, but yeah, I've experienced the spastic colon before, and if you can imagine someone kind of like breaking a wooden stick and shoving it into your stomach and twisting it around, it's painful. Okay, but it can be quite debilitating, especially if it's persistent. How common is IBS?
Well, in actual fact, we guess it's around about 10 to 20%. And the reason we're not actually sure exactly how much is because, and it's more common in women, is because the symptoms that one has is very common, they're common gut issues. So you look at something like abdominal pain, you look at bloating, you look at cramping, diarrhea and or constipation. And so with all that in mind, you can understand the importance of looking at what we're eating in our diet.
Rather preempt the conversation and just change your diet.
Yes. Is there a specific diet to deal with IBS, though? Are there foods that you should stay away from, that you should incorporate? Is it different for everybody?
Well, there's the one answer I can definitely say is that diet does help.
Yeah.
So everyone does experience different foods that trigger their symptoms. Okay. My suggestion would be that the first thing you do is if you have IBS symptoms, is that you keep a food diary for a while. Okay. That'll help you pick up. There's a trend in terms of what type of foods you might be experiencing to have a problem with, and then look at what we call the low FODMAP diet. Now, FODMAP is basically looking at different types of carbohydrates and sugars that aren't that easily absorbed, you know, and what then happens is they irritate the gut. And that's what causes quite a lot of the problems in terms of IBS symptoms.
Okay.
If it's all about gut health, then surely probiotics play a role. Or what role do they play?
Yes. Well, varying roles depending on your symptoms, of course, but yes, they do nonetheless. And what I would recommend people to do, so remember, probiotics is basically the bacteria, the beneficial bacteria in our gut. And to start with, we want to ensure a higher intake of good bacteria. So let's start with, you know, the types of foods that we choose. It could be something like kombucha, yogurt, your pickles. Those are just some of the examples in miso that actually does contain natural probiotics.
Yeah.
But then we also have what we call prebiotics. Now, the prebiotics is like a soluble fiber. Yeah. And it's quite interesting because if we increase foods that contain prebiotics, so that soluble fiber is found particularly in things like oats, oat bran, bananas, butternut, etc. Then, of course, what we're doing is we actually increase the food that the bacteria or the probiotics need, and in that way we increase the short-chain fatty acids. And that's what actually assists us in terms of keeping our gut healthy.
Oh, wonderful. What about dietary fat? Can that also affect IBS as well?
Yes, no, definitely. And the good news is that that's basically on the spectrum of what we call a low FODMAP. Okay. So it's safe.
Yes.
It's the type of thing, the type of food that you want to include. Yeah. And if I can just mention with canola oil why you would consider that. Is the canola oil actually contains a lot of omega-3.
Oh, wow.
So omega-3 is anti-inflammatory, and obviously IBS is an inflammatory condition.
Yeah.
So by including that through your cooking, you actually get the double health benefit, not only omega-3 but also in terms of the immunity. And then all the other good fats are also very beneficial to include. So now we're looking at something like your seeds and your nuts and your avocados. Those are just some of the examples that I would recommend. Okay. But you know, when we look at our diet in IBS, one of the things that are really important is also to look at lifestyle, because it's also stress related.
It's the modern human condition.
Yeah.
It seems to be so closely related, but I think the most important lesson here is that if you are suffering from any of the symptoms that we've discussed, that you can do something about it. Love the idea of a food diary. I think start to get a bit of an algorithm in your own life. But don't wait, just do something about it. Megan, thank you so much for those key insights. Here's to a healthy gut, and for great recipes, more information on canola oil, which seems to be a fantastic remedy, especially with that super element of the omegas. You can visit bewellfoods.co.za.
Well, after nearly a decade, Stomp is finally back again in South Africa to bring forth their energetic and fantastically unique art form while introducing it to a new generation of theatre goers. And the show starts tonight at the Artscape Theatre and runs through until the 15th of September. Do go and check it out. In the meantime, if you're looking for a reason, here's a taste teaser of their trolley routine. I'm part. Look at this. Hey, listen. Okay, it's gonna be amazing. Guys,
we were ready.
Guys, I can see that. The show starts tonight until the 15th. I completely missed that trolley as I was trying to put my hand in. You saw it. Anyway, until the 15th of September at the Artscape, and tickets are available. Go and check it out. I've got to ask you guys. So, with so many different kind of instruments that you use and things that you find to make sounds, what is the most difficult thing to get a sound out of?
Ooh, good question.
Yeah?
Hello. Obviously.
Actually, we have in some of our churches, we carry these things called beads that they use to go like, you know, and then they make the... It's actually quite easy to make a sound out of a pillow.
No.
But anyway, that's a conversation for another day. Check out the show, 10th to the 15th of September, Artscape. It's called Stomp, and we'll have more from the cast on your Feel Good Breakfast show. Thanks, guys. That was really awesome.
Thank you.
I'm Bert Bosch. I'm a musician and actor, and I live in Johannesburg. Come find your smooth fame and fortune with me, Bert, on Tropical Island of Treasure, Curacao. All you need to do, you buy a Tropica, you follow the entry details on the back of the bottle, you make a video, you upload it to Twitter or Facebook or Instagram with the hashtag TIOT9 and tell me why you want to be on my team, and then you could be winning fame and fortune with me on Tropical Island of Treasure, Curacao.
Oh, you three.
Straight in, not straight in.
You three. No.
We do 2 rounds.
We do 2 rounds and do the.
Okay.
Are we lining up for a rundown?
The last one?
That's the pipe routine, right?
Yes.
He said that's the pipe routine.
Yeah.
Pipe song.
Oh, massive other.
Do we? Well.
Wow, illusion.
That's it.
We got kids in here, damn it! There kids in here.
You guys want to do another?
We got kids.
That's just like a rehearsal. You guys could take time.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It's a Tuesday morning. All kinds of inspiration flowing from our studio this morning.
Wondering what noise you can make with that cup of coffee.
Exactly. I was doing the ad breaking because we just watched Stomp and they did the trolley routine or part of it for us. And I was like, imagine you start the show and you're like,
absolutely love it. And we're going to get another performance from them in just a moment. Let's get back into our news headlines. Come on, make the noise.
In the national news this morning, KwaZulu-Natal police have opened an inquest docket into the death of KZN University student Natasha Konabia, who was found at the weekend dumped unconscious outside her house after being reported missing 3 weeks ago. The Minister of International Relations, Naleli Pandor, says the government will take the necessary steps to tackle the scourge of attacks on foreign nationals and return the country to stability and calm. On the international front, angry fans of Sierra Leone's national football team have attacked a player's house after he missed a decisive penalty. It meant that Sierra Leone failed to go through to the next stage of the 2022 World Cup qualifiers. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said yesterday that Iran had been developing nuclear weapons at a secret site near the city of Abbey, but that Tehran destroyed the facility after learning it had been exposed. And finally, 55-year-old Guy Jennings of Noordhoek, Cape Town, has just become the first South African to conquer the world's toughest mountain race, the 1,700 kilometers Silk Road mountain race through the mountains of Kyrgyzstan, and he has placed 34th out of 144 competitors. It's a single-stage cycling race with competitors following long-forgotten old Soviet roads with very little tarmac. An exhilarated Guy on the final day said the race was very, very hard, beautiful, but brutal. Well, that was your 7:30 news update. Here's another look at what's happening in the world of sport.
Touching on some of our major headlines this week, in rugby, the funeral of Springbok legend Chester Williams, who tragically passed away last Friday due to a suspected heart attack, will be taking place at the Newlands Rugby Stadium this coming Saturday, kicking off at noon midday. Then continuing with rugby news, for the first time in history, a big confidence boost ahead of the World Cup, Ireland has climbed to the top of the World Rugby rankings, knocking New Zealand to second spot, while South Africa moves up to fourth after beating Japan over the weekend, surpassing Wales in the process. Then in cricket, Sine Lewis will lead the Proteas women's cricket team for their tour of India, scheduled to kick off on the 19th of this month. Lewis will be standing in for regular captain Danae Fanikuk, who is still out injured. And then we round off with very positive news. This just in, Bianca Buitendag has just won bronze at the 2019 ISA World Surfing Games in Japan, and she's also now provisionally qualified for the 2020 Tokyo Olympics as the highest placed African female in surfing. Incredible example to set for Geordie Smith, of course, who takes part in the men's draw later today, sending him all the best of luck there. We'll expand on those headlines in a half hour.
Money, money. Money, money.
Well, here's taking a quick look at your traffic update. This morning in Gauteng and Rand Park Ridge on the N1 northbound, there's a stationary vehicle before Beyers-Naudé Drive obstructing the emergency lane. Delays can be expected there, so please keep a lookout for this. In the Western Cape in Gugulethu, there is congestion on the N2 inbound between Danafontein Road and Liesbeek Parkway. The average traveling speed is about 20 kilometers per hour with delays of up to 20 minutes, so do plan your route there. Metro Rail update on the Northern Line. There's a community protest action at Klipjewel impacting the Malmesbury line. Delays of approximately 60 minutes can be expected, but commuters are advised to use an alternative mode of transport between Malmesbury and Kraaifontein this morning. That's it for your traffic. Let's take a look at the weather. We asked you to send us your sunrise pictures, and Linda McMillan sent us a sunrise from Durban, where plenty of sunshine can be expected with warm temperatures and a northeasterly breeze reaching a maximum of 25 degrees in terms of temperatures. Fatah Khan sent us a sunrise picture from Richards Bay, where sunny conditions can be expected with warmer temperatures and little to no wind today. Those temperatures will be reaching about a maximum of 28 degrees. Let's take a look at the temperatures all around the country. In Polokwane, between 8 and 28. Mbombela will also experience sunny conditions today, a low of 10 and a high of 27. Plenty of sunshine for Pretoria this morning, 10 to 29, while Johannesburg will see a low of 10 and a high of 26. Over to the northwest, Mahikeng 9 to 29, Klerksdorp 6 to 28. Moving now over to the Northern Cape in Kimberley, sunny conditions expected there, a low of 7 and a high of 29, while the lowest temperatures in the country are in Bloemfontein this morning, while sunny, a low of 4 and a high of 28. Richards Bay between 17 and 28. High humidity, the order of the day in Pietermaritzburg, and temperatures ranging between 11 and 29. Northeasterly winds of about 17 kilometers per hour expected for Durban today, a low of 16 and a high of 25, while sunny conditions continue in Mthatha, 9 to 32. East London between 16 and 28 degrees Celsius. The highest temperatures in the country in Cradock this morning between 7 and 35 degrees. Port Elizabeth, a low of 16 and a high of 26. Partly cloudy conditions for George this morning, a low of 14 and a high of 23. Northwesterly winds of about 22 kilometers per hour expected for Sutherland, a low of 8 and a high of 28, while the mother city will see temperatures ranging between 13 and 20 degrees Celsius. Some high humidity for Worcester this morning, a low of 13 and a high of 27, while Springbok will see minimum 9 and maximum 27 degrees. Uppington, to round things off, a low of 11 and a high of 32. It's going to be a scorcher there, but no matter what the weather in your part of the country, here's to hoping that you have a fantastic Tuesday.
So we know that a lot of people out there might not be having the best day because their pets are feeling a little under the weather at the moment, or maybe going through something really serious. And I think there's a reason why, we know we are very emotionally invested in our pets, but there's a reason why there's so many like TV, dramas, movies, books written about vets, because...
Dr. Dolittle.
Yeah, Dr. Dolittle for what? But they do kind of show the best of humanity when a person has that kind of selfless vibe about them to look after pets, those that can't protect themselves. There's something beautiful about that.
From the pet's perspective, but this morning we're turning things around and looking at it from the vet's perspective. Let's take a look at this.
There are tons of pretty cool jobs out there, but I think most of us have at least at one point in our lives dreamt of becoming a vet. They're unsung heroes who do so much for those that we care the most about. Our pets literally are our family, and they do an amazing job taking care of them and us at the same time. So I've come to probably one of the busiest and most advanced animal hospitals and vets in the country, the Tygerberg Animal Hospital, to spend a day in the life of a vet. I can't wait. Let's go.
Today we are job shadowing Dr. Ferreira.
I'm guessing this is where it all begins. This is kind of front of house.
When clients come in here, there's the first thing they see. We have the friendly faces of the receptionists that need to get the people booked in, settled in. If an emergency or a more critical patient comes in, they need to make that decision of, do I need to call the vet right now to have a look, or can it wait a little bit?
Since pets can't speak for themselves, vets learn to read the sign language of cats, dogs, and every other animal.
As a consulting veterinarian, we've got different roles, which I'll show you guys later, but one of the important decisions that we need to make in a 15-minute consult is, does this pet need to stay here? Does it need to be admitted for a procedure? Can it go home with just medication? Or so those are all sort of things that we need to decide here. And 15 minutes sounds like a very short time, but Once you sort of get into the groove of asking the right questions and do a proper consult in 15 minutes without feeling too rushed, but obviously if it takes longer, you take your time.
When bringing an animal, and I know this is a very relaxed cat, but any animal into a very unfamiliar environment with this kind of energy around you, you've got to kind of be that calm you want them to exhibit in this space.
I mean, we want to try and create a bit more of a relaxed environment as possible. Cats with bladder disease, we often end up prescribing a therapeutic diet as a method of controlling a disease. So all these contributing things just lead to a much more happy cat.
If you're lucky, you'll have the same vet for your pet's entire life, and the relationship starts by giving your animal the best shot at many happy years.
This is one of the most common consultations that we do, making sure that the vaccinations are up to date. I mean, a lot of the diseases, especially rabies, and we also vaccinate against feline leukemia, feline panleukopenia, herpes, and calicivirus. It's all very important diseases that are actually vaccine preventable. So, I mean, there's very little reason to not vaccinate your cat. For a lot of animals that are healthy only typically come in about once a year. So this is not just a vaccination, this is a full checkup. And he's looking quite happy, and he'll be on his merry way now until we see him next year then.
I cannot believe the lengths that vets and all of their support staff go to at this particular animal hospital, but I think just in general how much of a connection the vets actually have with the animals and of course the owners.
Older dogs are especially dear to the staff of any practice.
One of the important things to bear in mind with the consultation, and I often get clients bringing a dog in and saying, yes, I just wish you could tell me what was wrong. And then I reply with, then I would not have a job. So one of the important parts of our job is obviously we need to see physically using our senses what are we perceiving to be going on here. We need to ask the right questions. We need to do a test to confirm that or rule this in or rule that out.
Good boy.
Right, so I just want to check his chest out a little bit and make sure that it's not gotten worse or anything. So we're going to have to check him in to the theatre side just to do a chest x-ray and see how that's all doing. These are all the patients that basically just wait until it's their turn for procedure, whether it be surgery or just x-rays, mild sedation, stitch up if they've had wounds or anything. Most of the animals that we do have in here have received a pre-medication. So this is now the prep room. Everything that needs to go under anesthesia or going to theatre to get the procedures done, masses removed, even routine procedures like sterilizations and castrations, and x-rays taken here as well. So everything sort of like that happens here.
You don't often see or hear about a dog going to the dentist, but the Tygerberg Animal Hospital are one of the few that have an actual dentist on call. We're about to see veterinary science in a whole new light.
Some amazing stuff. They had a stainless steel crown that they put on a dog's canine the other day that had broken, so that dog had a bit more gangster swag after that. So, but they're doing fantastic work, yes. Veterinary science is also becoming more specialized as well, not to the extent that human medicine is at this point, but we're definitely doing a lot of we're getting more specialized. So I mean, you've got your oncologists, your internal medicine specialists, your surgeon specialists, dental specialists. So it's really great to see this in action. So over here now, this is the hospital. So this is all the patients that end up having to stay overnight because we are a 24-hour facility. So luckily we've got different shifts. That really makes life easier and making sure that we don't crash and burn from exhaustion. So ensuring that we are well rested and we deliver the best possible level of service that we can. Yeah, so look, definitely one of the best parts of my job in the afternoon when you're the hospital vet is definitely sending patients home. If you can, there's few things that sort of get my happiness flowing, like having a dog with a tail wagging, realizing, look, here's my dad, mom coming to pick me up. When we send them home, that makes it worthwhile in the end. It's really, it needs to be a very well-oiled machine, and thankfully over here it is.
The best part about this whole day is seeing the level of empathy that everyone has for each other in a work sense, and for the unbelievable care that they have for the animals that come into this incredible facility. What an eye-opener. Oh, and there we have it. Full circle, we're back in our bustling reception. Buddy, you have the most amazing job. You have incredible colleagues, an unbelievable facility. Maybe we can leave one parting shot. Why should someone become a vet?
Look, I mean, if I had to give sort of one sentence, I would say, look, I mean, if you like helping animals, helping people, and if you like understanding how things work and why things work. A good combination of people skills, animal skills, and science. I mean, I get an immense reward out of my job, and I mean, yes, like with any other job, it has its ups and downs. It's definitely not just a long walk on the beach every day, but I mean, yesterday I was covered in 5 amazing dogs that came in for their vaccinations, and I mean, that really does tend to make you feel quite happy.
Doc, what an absolute pleasure. This has been really kind of conscious expanding to see how much you guys have to handle here in this hospital. It's a vet, it's a hospital, it's an amazing place looking after people and animals. Buddy, get back to work.
Science is at the heart of biology-based nutrition. The secret to lifelong health, it all starts with science.
Well, I tell you what, if you're looking for a reason to feel so good on this Tuesday morning, then look no further than the cast of Stomp. They're here. Their show starts off tonight, the 10th of September, and runs until the 15th of September in Cape Town at the Artscape. And if you're very, very impressed by the bit of the trolley routine they did earlier on, wait until you see what these guys can do with these things, pipes, things. Yeah, no, it doesn't work on me, guys. No, wait, no.
I can hear the echo of my voice in my ear. Ready to go forward.
Cool from present research to Juicy and Graham. It's like lucky now, no problem.
Are we moving around? Okay. Can we just come in? I'll start.
Graham, Richard Hopkins.
Off camera. And then we
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your Feel-Good Breakfast Show. It's a Tuesday morning and so good to be in your company. What a fun show it's been so far, eh?
It's been a great show. It's been a great week. Thank you so much for playing your part. But of course, you get a much bigger part to play now in deciding, helping to inform who will be sitting there and there.
And there. Exactly.
Yeah, maybe.
Now, last week's installment of Presenter Search on 3, the Expresso edition, showcased the reveal of your top 10 contestants, as well as giving our viewers the power to share in the journey of finding out who will be the 2 new presenting faces on your Feel Good Breakfast show. Now, you have a choice, and we put this poll up last week between the comeback kids, if you will. Kuhle Adams, Danny Gaselli, Zinande Makina, or Reshan Pillay. And today is the last day that you can have your say. So let's currently check at what the poll stands out right now. The question was, who do you think should get their hashtag time to shine and join Presenter Search on 3's top 10? Danny Gaselli getting 14%, Reshan Pillay coming in at 5%, Zinande Makina coming in at 33%, and of course, standing tops right now is Kuhle Adams with 48% of the votes. So you can vote by heading over to Presenter Search on 3's Twitter page with the handle @BeFoundOn3 and choosing your favorite from these 4 to be voted back into the competition. The poll is pinned to the top of the page and you can only have 1 vote. So you need to use it wisely.
Yeah.
Very,
Exercise
very
your
wisely.
power.
And as you can
Exactly.
hear, this is causing major
People were like
shockwaves.
running outside into
Yeah.
houses.
In the street, it's chaos at the moment. And we
Well,
also
it's streets, that's what
invited
they
each
sound like.
contestant onto Expresso
Stop.
last Thursday to have an exclusive chance to state why they think they should be worthy of your vote. They each made a very compelling case, so this is not an easy decision. And if you haven't done so already, then make sure you have your say by voting on the Twitter page of Presenter Search on 3. The poll is up right now. There are 8 more weeks in this journey to finding out who will take the 2 coveted presenting spots right here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. And you can share in this exciting process by voting in the Twitter poll and tuning in tomorrow night to see who won your vote. Presenter Search on 3, the Expresso edition, every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. with repeats every Saturday at 1 p.m. right here on SABC3, where the stage
is
yours, darling.
Who would you guys vote for right now?
I'm going to vote for Roshen because he's only got 5% of the votes and he was such a lovely guy. I mean, they were all fantastic.
That's very nice. I mean, is that a charitable vote, are you saying?
It is kind of.
It's a charitable vote.
But he is a cool guy,
Yeah.
man. He was
Yeah.
They were all lovely,
He
actually,
really
and they
is.
were very authentic, which is a big thing for me. Our set's all about authenticity.
Yeah.
But I feel sad that he's only got 5%.
Oh,
Who would you vote for,
I
Leanne?
really like Danny.
Crew,
I
man.
really,
Leanne, would you-
really
you'd-
liked
you'd vote for Danny?
Yeah, I wouldn't vote for him, but I liked him.
No, but
Why would
the
you-
question is,
are
who
you
would you vote
I
for?
probably because he got 14%, I'd vote for Danny.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Just to leveling up the
So each
playing
of you would be
field.
giving charitable votes.
Guys,
Or who
it's
would
not
you vote for?
That's so nice of you.
Are you going to follow the
what?
crowd? Are you going to be a
No,
crowd follower?
because you know it's a touch screen thing. So I would vote like this on all of them, like this.
Just.
And then wait for the device to
To
choose.
see join the Presenter Search on 3 Top 10. Is it radio presenter and entrepreneur Danny Gaselli, musician and advertising agent Rashen Pillay, TV presenter and MC Kutle Adams, or boxer and radio presenter Zanande Makina? Vote for your favorite on the Presenter Search on 3 Viewers' Choice Twitter poll on twitter.com/be found on 3. T's and C's apply and can be found on presentersearchon3.com.
Listen up, I hope you're as excited as I am to see these guys performing at the Artscape Theatre. They are the cast of Stomp. It is back in South Africa, and in this wonderful show, they take audiences through a magical journey where sound and rhythm are the only languages that are relevant and make sense. And some might call it a pipe dream. They call it a pipe routine.
Oh.
That's absolutely amazing. Go and check out the show. Tickets are available. The show's called Stomp. It's running from tonight until the 15th of September. By the way, what time is the show? In the
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock in the evening. All right.
Yes.
And how long is the show?
1 hour, 40 minutes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And then great
on the weekends, we got a matinee at 3 o'clock as well.
Weekends, matinee, 3 o'clock. And then maybe you're lucky enough, they might toss you a pipe. And then you do this 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and.
Can you hear it in the background? I'm wondering what noises we could make here with our barista's machine here. Do you think you could make a noise to slot in there? Gonna introduce it. I absolutely love it. Thank you so much to the cast of Stomp. Great group of people over and above their considerable rhythmical talent. And of course, we're going to have one more performance, but you can see them at the Artscape, kicking off at 8 o'clock, as they said. Princess, thank you so much for my gorgeous coffee. Listen to the sound that this makes, right? I don't know if it's enough to get me into the cast of Stomp, but I'll try again, right? Oh, it's so good, though.
Only the highest grade Arabica beans. McAfee, great coffee, simple. See you after the break.
This is Season 9 of Tropica Island of Treasure. Welcome to Curacao in the Caribbean. Buy Tropica and come find your smooth fame and fortune. Audition online now to compete with your favorite celeb, and you could join us in paradise and stand a chance to win your share of a smooth 1 million rand. Grab a Tropica for details and see you in paradise.
The more Tropica you buy, the more chances you have to win hundreds of thousands of prizes. Tropica, nothing smoother.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
We will turn your guilt trips into good trips. Book flights from 499 Rand, only on travelstar.co.za.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast show on this Tuesday, and it is, of course, a travel Tuesday. As always, we're looking for inspiration, and in that vein of thinking, traveling in low season, winter or off season doesn't need to be a bad idea. In fact, it could actually be a very good idea. It's easy to focus on what ifs and, of course, second guessing yourself. But before you do so, realize that it's not so bad. It's actually quite a good idea, as I said. So Travel Star's Janice Temmers joins us this morning to tell us why there's beauty in traveling during the off-season and what it could do to help you kind of get those holidays in and, yeah, save on the chankuras.
I think, let's be honest, there's an opportunity. Janice, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You look gorgeous today.
Oh, thank you. I'm bringing in spring.
I was going to say, you look very much in season at the moment. You're kind of helping us capture season. I'm interested to know the difference, because you get like low season, as you mentioned.
Yes.
High season, peak, we know, and off season. So what effectively is off season travel?
So off-season is low season, and that's when you save the most money. So I'm here to tell you how you can actually save and still maximizing your experience. So whenever school is on, so it's not school holidays, or it's not the Easter like the Easter weekend, you know, that long weekend, that's low season. High season is during the school holiday period, so your June, July, your September, October school holidays, and then you get peak season travel, which is December, January, and the most expensive time of year to travel.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you can carry on with the conversation because my microphone isn't working right now.
I was going to say, because I'm thinking about all of the places I want to go and how dependent they are on the weather. That's obviously a big driver, but it doesn't necessarily have to qualify a great trip. You're going to see a destination to take it in. So what are those destinations that people go to off-season? What's a great place to visit?
Where's one of your destinations that you want to go to?
Well, I'm thinking like I dig the idea of going to Asia or doing something like that. That for me has really jumped off. But I just don't know the weather.
Perfect.
In Asia, so
Perfect. Well, Asia's always a winner for South African market because of our currency going so much further. And with TravelStart, we always have great deals. Right now, we've got promotions on Qatar Airways to travel to Thailand. That's just under 7K. So depending on your dates, remember it's low season. And if you look at Thailand, if you look at Phuket specifically, your monsoon period will be from about May to October. But when we say monsoon, it's not going to be, it's not winter like we just had. It's just maybe 1 hour of just pouring rain, which people like me would think it's refreshing and welcoming because it's really hot and you're cooling down a little bit.
Anyone in Cape Town is like, I dig that. If the rain's actually scheduled, I'll take it.
And so Thailand and Bali, being in Asia, those are our popular inquiry destinations, and we do have promotions running for those destinations right now. And what's great about traveling there during low season is it's not so crowded. So you're not going to find all those Aussies in Thailand and Bali.
We love you, Aussies. Don't worry. You're always welcome to come around.
That's not just for the cast of the Australian members of the cast of Stomp. No, but I hear you. And Bali is actually one of the places, funny enough, I think you're reading my mind, that I'd love to go to. Can you imagine all the fresh green with the fresh kind of glisten of rain? Love it.
I mean, 2 days ago, I was in Seychelles, so I'm all about islands right now. Mauritius, is that one of them as well, maybe?
Guys, don't get me started. That is probably by far my most favorite island.
Really?
Stop it. I've just been about a month ago. I went to go and explore all of the Beachcomber resorts.
For research and development purposes, of course.
Life, man. I'm so sorry.
It was really, it was so hard, I had to inspect all those rooms and eat all the great food. But it's amazing, and the great thing about this property, or, this group, this chain group, Beachcomber, they're actually running 30% discount right now on all of their 8 resorts. You can't go wrong. If you want to go all-inclusive, they've got resorts that are fully interchangeable, so you don't have to be stuck at the one property.
Oh, wow.
You can actually hop around, yes. I mean, you can... Actually, I can go on and on and on. I get so excited and so passionate. The water sports are phenomenal. It's just phenomenal. The food, the Mauritian staff, they really set the bar in the world for hospitality. And they make you feel... I feel like a princess when I'm there. I come back maybe a little bit broke, and then I just have to work. But when I'm there, I feel like royalty.
Well, you help us in that regard as well. You guys are all about experiencing these places to build relationships so that you can leverage those relationships to get us better deals. You've mentioned a couple of key points there, Qatar Airways being one. What great deals can we get through TravelStart right now? Right now,
so still on the island topic, so we've got Zanzibar that's going for just about, 12K per person, all inclusive. So you've got your flights, transfers, 7 nights accommodation with your meals. Yeah.
All of that for 12K?
All of that for 12K, right? 12K.
You're giving it away.
So be flexible with your dates, guys, because this really helps. Because you might come through to us and the dates that you want to book for might be fully booked, and it does help to be a little bit flexible. Okay. So, we can help save you money that way. If you want to keep it local, Sun City is our favorite. If you're going to go check into the cabanas midweek, it starts for about 1,080 Rand per person for 2 nights with breakfast, unlimited access to the Valley of the Waves, Wi-Fi. Really...
Who needs a beach,
That's
man?
Incredible.
Who needs a beach?
Right?
Yes,
wow.
So those are all those deals, and you can check them out on our landing page. So visit travelstart.co.za, click on packages, and you can just enter. They are loads.
Maldives, Mauritius, Zanzibar, Bali, Sun City, Cape Town. Have your pick of it. Travel Tuesday inspiration, courtesy of our friends at travelstart.co.za.
Are you going to sing a song? You look like you're about to sing a song, really?
Zanzibar. Cut.
Turn your guilt trips into good trips. Book flights from 499 Rand, only on travelstart.co.za.
I was trying to think up words of songs with Zanzibar.
I was wondering if you could continue that note for the full length of our little break there.
Now my mind is just stuck on Aruba, Jamaica. Ooh, I wanna take... Wow, if you know that song,
In the national news this morning, KwaZulu-Natal police say they have opened an inquest docket into the death of KZN University student Natasha Konabia, who was found at the weekend dumped unconscious outside her house after being reported missing 3 weeks ago. The 23-year-old was then rushed to a Durban hospital where she received treatment in the ICU but passed away. KZN police say they are still waiting for post-mortem results to reveal what happened to her. This as there was an outpouring of grief in South Africa during the past week against gender violence. The Minister of International Relations, Naledi Pandor, says the government will take the necessary steps to tackle the scourge of attacks on foreign nationals. She was speaking after meeting with ambassadors that have representation in South Africa, in Pretoria. Pandor said the government will also implement measures that will prevent similar attacks in the future. She said the government is taking all the necessary measures that it can to ensure that the country returns to stability and calm. Now moving further abroad, angry fans of Sierra Leone's national football team have attacked a player's house after he missed a decisive penalty. Captain Amaru Bangura failed to convert a stoppage-time spot kick in front of a huge crowd against Liberia on Sunday. It meant that Sierra Leone failed to go through to the next stage of the 2022 World Cup qualifiers. The windows and doors of his residence in the capital of Freetown were left badly damaged. Even a song mocking his penalty miss has been released. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said yesterday that Iran had been developing nuclear weapons at a secret site near the city of Abadeh, but that Tehran destroyed the facility after learning that it had been exposed. It was the first time Netanyahu had identified the site, which he said was discovered in a trove of Iranian documents Israel previously obtained. Meanwhile, North Korea said it was now willing to restart nuclear talks with the United States, but warned that chances of a deal could end unless Washington takes a fresh approach. And finally, in the wake of Hurricane Dorian, the Category 5 hurricane that devastated the northwestern Bahamas, damaged the southeastern USA and Atlantic Canada, causing 30 deaths and leaving some 70,000 people homeless. People are opening their hearts and their wallets. One of them is actor, filmmaker and comedian Tyler Perry, who's using his personal jet to fly relief supplies to the Abaco Islands, an area hardest hit by Dorian. His plane has already made 2 trips and several more shipments of water, juice, diapers, sleeping bags are due soon. And an anonymous man in Florida walked into his local hardware shop and purchased 100 generators, all of which are heading to the Bahamas. His bill was almost $50,000. Well, that was your 8 o'clock news update. Here's a final look at what's happening in the world of sport with Graham.
Returning to a tragic story, of course, that broke over the weekend. The funeral of Springbok legend Chester Williams, who passed away last Friday due to a suspected heart attack, will take place at the Newlands Rugby Stadium this coming Saturday at noon. Williams, of course, was a part of the now iconic 1995 Rugby World Cup winning squad, playing 27 tests for the Boks, scoring 14 very memorable tries. And most recently, Williams was the head coach of the University of the Western Cape's rugby team. They'll have a memorial for themselves, a service at 1 p.m. at the main campus in Bellville on Wednesday, so tomorrow. Then, or later today rather. Then on to rugby. For the first time in history, Ireland has climbed to the top of the world rugby rankings, knocking New Zealand to second spot. That while South Africa moves up to fourth after beating Japan over the weekend. So Ireland claiming their 1910 win over Wales on Saturday means that they'll head into the 2019 Rugby World Cup in Japan in that top spot. Then a defeat to the Irish has now seen Wales swap with the Springboks, who they now sit in 5th place on the table just behind the Boks. Then on to cricket news. Sine Lewis will lead the Proteas women's cricket team for their tour of India, scheduled to kick off from the 19th of September. Lewis will be standing in for regular captain Danae van Niekerk, who is out with an injury. It's unclear when van Niekerk will be fit to play again after she suffered a stress fracture to her femur earlier this year. The tour of India will run up until the 14th of of October and will consist of 5 T20 international matches and 3 one-day internationals. Then some great news just in. Bianca Badendag has just won bronze at the 2019 ISA World Surfing Games in Japan. She's provisionally qualified for the 2020 Tokyo Olympics as the highest placed African female in surfing, having a fantastic year. Hopefully set the tone for Jordy Smith, who won his first heat in the men's draw a little bit earlier this morning, and we'll track that very closely. But congratulations, Bianca, and that's where we leave our sport this morning.
Well, on that note, let's take a look at the traffic updates so far. Hopefully not too bad. In Gauteng, Pretoria on the N1 southbound, there's a stationary vehicle after the Brakfontein interchange obstructing the right lane. Delays can be expected, so please do keep a lookout for this. In the Western Cape in Kraaifontein, there's been an accident on the N1 inbound before Okavango Drive or Road. The right shoulder is currently obstructed and causing heavy delays, so please approach with caution. Taking a look at the Metro Rail Northern Line, there's community protest action at Klipjewel impacting the Malmesbury line. Delays of approximately 60 minutes can be expected, but commuters are advised to use alternative modes of transport between Malmesbury and Kraaifontein. That's all we have for the traffic update. Let's take one final look at the weather.
Thank you so much, Kat. Now, we've asked you to send in your sunrise pictures. Thank you so much to Samuel Jacobs for your sunrise from Beaufort West. Also to Gary Oakham for your sunrise picture from East London, and Falani Feli for your sunrise all the way from Lepalale, and our very own Katleho for his sunrise picture from the Seychelles, as well as Linda Macmillan for that sunrise picture from Durban, and lastly, Father Khan for your sunrise picture from Richards Bay. Let's take a look at the temperatures around the rest of the country. Polokwane, you're looking at a low of 8 rising to 28. Mbombela 10-27. Plenty of sunshine for Pretoria with a low of 10 reaching 29 degrees. Johannesburg 10-26. Mahikeng 9-29. Klerksdorp 6-28. Kimberley 7-29. The lowest temperature in the country is for Bloemfontein, 4 reaching 28 degrees. Richards Bay 17 rising to 28. Pietermaritzburg, you'll have some high humidity today with a low of 11 reaching 29 degrees. Also Durban, you'll experience a northeasterly wind of 17 kilometers per hour and a temperature of 16 rising to 25. Mthatha 9 rising to 32. East London 16-28. Cradock, you have the highest temperature in the country today with a low of 7 rising to 35 degrees. Port Elizabeth 16-26. George 14 reaching 23. And then Sutherland, you can experience a northwesterly wind of 22 kilometers per hour with a low of 8 rising to 25 degrees. Cape Town 13 reaching 20 degrees. Some high humidity for Worcester with a low of 13 rising to 27. Springbok 9-27. And finally Uppington, a low of 11 reaching 32 degrees. Well, that's a wrap of your weather today. Have an amazing day, but more than anything else, keep it locked to your Feel Good Breakfast Show, which continues after this.
All right. So the cast of Stomp have joined us on this Tuesday morning, and it's been absolutely amazing hanging out with them, experiencing a little bits of the show that starts off tonight until the 15th of September. Get your tickets now already at the Artscape in Cape Town. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. Now, earlier on, Phil and Cammy told me that, the cast come from all walks of life, right? So, wait, what do you guys do for a living?
I'm a drummer.
A drummer?
Oh, you see.
He's a drummer as well.
Just idiot.
He's an idiot.
Bro.
Okay. So it goes to say then that anybody with rhythm, with an inkling of rhythm in their body.
You said rhythm is like percussion's not even a precursor to this.
Yeah. So anybody can pretty much try it and master it,
Anybody,
right?
including you two.
Oh, yes. The challenge has been laid down. Okay, so we've seen them perform a bit of the trolley routine and the pipe routine as well. And now you're going to teach us how to stomp. I don't know to what extent, but...
That's right.
To some extent.
Yeah, to some extent. We're going to show you a little bit of what we're going to do at the end of your show. So we're going to try and teach you. And then later on, if one of us goes down in the show, you guys can come in and
We are so ready. Okay. Okay, cool. All right, so where do we even start with
understudies. We are ready, guys. We are ready.
We're just going to start with a stomp.
Okay.
Stomp. Clap. Then you're going to do right, left, right, left. So you're going to go right, left, right, left.
Right, left, right, left.
And then add a clap at the end. So it's going to go stomp, clap, right, left, start over, stop, clap, right, left, right, left. Stomp.
Okay.
Right, left, right, left. Stomp. Right, left, right, left. Stomp.
You can see the tappers here.
Right, left, right, left.
They're like...
Stomp. Right, left, right, left.
Okay.
Stomp. Right, left, right, left. Now add your own style to it.
Hey, hey. We are here. We are Stomp. And a Stomp. It's so much fun.
Who's got what it takes to shine on Expresso? Your favorite breakfast show is searching for new presenters, and it's your time to shine with Orbit Gum.
Own it with Presenter Search on 3, the Expresso edition, Wednesdays at 7:30 p.m. on SABC3.
In thrilling weekly challenges, who will stand, who will stumble, and who will win the right to bring you the best of breakfast television. It's your time to shine with Presenter Search on 3 and Orbit Gum.
One, two, testing. Quick picture.
How you find it?
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your feel-good breakfast show. How are you feeling, G?
I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed that. I'm glad I gave you the humorous moment that you all needed.
Beautiful.
No, it's been an awesome show, and I think this whole week there has been a certain gravitas, and today really does come with that. This is an opportunity for all of us to cast a light on something that's difficult to talk about, but something that is vitally important that we do. World Suicide Prevention Day, an awareness day observed on the 10th of September every year. This day was created in order to provide worldwide commitment and action. I love that, action to prevent suicides before it is too late. Suicide is a global phenomenon that we do, yes, experience here in South Africa, but close to 1 million people commit suicide each year. For family and friends affected by suicide or even attempted suicide, the emotional impact can last, well, I don't think you ever recover, truly. And here to talk us through suicide prevention, please welcome our trusted multimedia health specialist and good mate, Dr. Darren Green.
Good morning.
Buddy, good to have you here.
Thank you, thanks.
Dr. Darren Green, I want to find out from you. It's a very somber topic, but I'm also glad that we're talking about it because maybe, just maybe, there is somebody that we can help today.
Right now.
What are the leading causes of suicide in our country specifically?
Yeah, if we look at the statistics via the South African Depression and Anxiety Group, the biggest causes are people that are suffering from mental health issues like depression and anxiety, even performance anxiety in the workplace, at school, even affecting teenagers for teen suicide, for example. Massive changes in your life. You know, they always speak about the big three. Change your job, change your partner, obviously, and the other thing is obviously changing your location where you live. Those are massive psychological stresses on one, and sometimes we have a triple whammy of those. Many people actually do as well. that aside, obviously, the genetic risk factors of having mental illness and depression, which is actually genetic with no specific environmental factors
Sometimes
involved.
just needs a trigger, even if that, yeah.
Correct. So those are some big ones, you know, those massive changes, and obviously the understanding a bit of the brain biology behind it.
I'm going to reiterate this number, 0800 567 567. That is the number for the suicide helpline for the South African Depression and Anxiety Group. They are amazing. They've got counsellors that can speak to you right now if you need to talk to someone. So if any red flags are raised today, please give that number a call. Maybe a good place for us to kind of gain perspective of how prevalent it is to look at some of those statistics. What are South Africa's statistics like? Do you have an idea?
Yes. So, I mean, we mentioned close to 1 million a year. Also understanding the fundamental differences between a male and female suicides. Teenage suicide, for example, accounts for 10% of teenage deaths in our country. Also understanding, too, that one person commits suicide per hour. If you think of it in that way. 1
person per hour.
If you think of it that way, it kind of really hits home. And interesting to note, the incidence of suicide amongst males particularly is considerably higher, sometimes even between 14 and 18 a day.
Why
in our country.
In our country. Why do you think that is? I know it's an emotional question.
I mean, no, for sure. A lot of it has got to do with culture. Our cultures in our communities are pretty much geared on men being very, very quiet about their feelings, about their stresses. They consider it weakness to show vulnerability in terms of psychological stress.
Yeah.
And that stigma is something that exists from a deep-seated cultural belief system. And you can't change the behavior unless you change the belief system. Viktor Frankl put it quite nicely by saying that the two most important days in your life, or Mark Twain rather, sorry. Viktor Frankl commented on this quote. Mark Twain, the day you're born and the day
you find out why.
You find out why.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have lost that why. They don't know what their purpose is. And that hopelessness then sinks in, and then it's triggered by all the other stresses that we've mentioned already, leaving them in a place where they then have behavior that isolates. And that's where we need to obviously see the warning signs and get on board and obviously do something actively about it, like you said.
Exactly. Well, coming up after this, I want to speak to you about the methods that people use, and of course, what are the warning signs that we have to look out for when it comes to this. It is World Suicide Prevention Day, a day that is observed on the 10th of September every year, and we're looking for maybe signs of the people around us. We live such busy lives. We live past one another, and it can be a simple thing of seeing that someone is going through something and maybe stopping for just a minute and asking some critical questions in order to save someone from something that they'll do, of course, that we don't want them to do. So this talk will continue with Dr. Darren Green after this.
Now, here's a question you don't regularly think about when you wake up in the morning. Do you get enough vitamin B? Well, did you know that vitamin B is a key player in maintaining nerve health? And over the next few weeks, we'll be running a vitamin B series where we're going to talk about the importance of vitamin B. How important is it to your body? How important is it that you are aware of it? And we'll be talking to Dr. Fourie, who joins us this morning to kickstart this conversation about vitamin B deficiencies, the symptoms and the causes of it, and how to get around the lifestyle changes you need to make in order to manage your very, very busy life. And it's good to have you here, Dr. Fourie. Thanks for joining us.
I couldn't be more excited. Thank you very much.
We're focusing on vitamin B, right?
Okay.
And why, first of all, it is so important, because there's many of them, but why B?
So, as our food has changed, and our food has been processed, and our rice is polished, and our corn is ground, and our flour is ground, the things we're losing in the processing and the manufacturing is the B vitamin. So this class of vitamin is under huge threat because even our animals are being fed this kind of grain-based food. And so your cows that are growing up on grass are being well nourished with B vitamins, but your cows that are growing up on grain-fed are not necessarily so. So what they've done, though, cleverly, and like I said, the vets got into this, they started to fortify. So they add vitamins, they add vitamin D, they add calcium.
So that's where we find it, and that's where we lose it in the manufacturing process. But why is it so important to our bodies? What purpose does vitamin B serve?
So it's such a hard answer, because the answer, it does everything, wouldn't be incorrect. So it works with generation of energy. So primarily our body has to generate heat.
Yes.
We call heat energy. It has to get food in. It has to change the way that food looks and works to make it something my body can actually use. Then it has to be able to store that vitamin, or it has to be able to eliminate that vitamin, or it has to be able to use that vitamin to help my body to eliminate other junk which is being built up in my body.
So it's pretty much
these
involved
vitamins
in every
absolutely
process.
They're making energy,
body.
they're maintaining our nerves. The sheath, the outer lining of the nerve is actually being protected by this layer called a myelin sheath, which your B6 and B12 is critical in maintaining, specifically in this case B1.
Yeah. So that now says to me that in determining whether you're vitamin B deficient or not, it might be very difficult to do that because it is involved in so many different processes of the body. So what are the typical symptoms to look out for if you're vitamin B deficient?
So again, such a broad array of symptoms, and they look like so many things. So tiredness is the most common one that people think. Poor nutrition often comes hand in hand with a bit of stress. So people aren't necessarily eating well, they aren't necessarily sleeping well, they aren't necessarily detoxifying, they aren't eating fresh fruits and vegetables like we would. We're buying all these foods. So they're starting to feel stress increase, anxiety increase, depressions. People aren't sleeping as well. And these are all vitamin B related problems.
Yeah.
So they come and they feel, so tired is a big one. One that's kind of emerged, and it's actually being brought into a bit slower than we would like, is the problem that you actually develop with nerves. So you can actually feel off balance. You can feel pins and needles. You can get little tremors in your hand.
Yeah.
Often like people do when they're being interviewed on morning breakfast shows.
Are you right? I mean,
no, you're pretty okay. It's not bad.
Okay at the moment.
I'll just take an extra one later.
All right. So how do you know that those particular symptoms that you're exhibiting are particular to vitamin B deficiency?
So I'm only looking around when I get nervous about the answer, because it's such a difficult answer. You don't. So the joke is we've known about vitamins for 110 years. We still can't just test them.
Yeah.
So we can test a few of them. Vitamin B12 we can test pretty reliably.
Okay.
Vitamin B6 we can test pretty reliably. A lot of them, though, are stored inside your liver. So even when I do the blood test, I may find nothing in your blood because it's actually hidden from my blood test in your liver.
Okay.
So it's a really difficult test. So we kind of listen to the overall story, and this is where I work. I will look at the nutrition. I listen to the complaints of the patient. I try to understand, is this a lifestyle-related problem? Are they taking chronic medications? Are they conscious or conscientious about healthy eating?
Yeah.
Are they focused on what they're putting in their mouths? Are they conscious of how many toxins they may be taking in on a daily basis? Are they conscious of their environment? So kind of the guy who just goes, I don't know, I just get up and then I eat whatever my wife makes, and, you know, we get a ration and chips for lunch, and this guy, his symptoms, when he starts telling me, I have a tremor, I'm getting headaches, I'm feeling sleepy in the afternoons, you can almost start to deduce that his problems are related to vitamin B deficiency. So it's almost like a deductive, investigative process, because our tests are not fantastic.
Okay, so then ultimately, in trying to cover all your bases, how do you ensure that you do get the optimal supplementation of vitamin B? And can you take too much?
So with vitamins, no. That's what's really cool about vitamins, is that most of our vitamins, I just showed you 4 fingers, so you know I've got 5. There's 2 types of vitamins.
Yes.
So there's water-soluble and there's fat-soluble. But for our water-soluble vitamins, what it means is that if I take too much, I simply urinate them out. So you can't really... The one vitamin that we do worry a little bit about is B6.
Okay.
It looks like you can overdose on vitamin B6. But the B12s, the 1s, the 3s, you would really be hard-pressed. Vitamin C especially. There are doctors who use doses of vitamin C up to 50,000 milligrams, up to 100,000 milligrams in a drip form.
Yeah.
And that washes out basically over the next 24 hours. So really if it comes down to, because a lot of people worry about this, is like, aren't we getting enough vitamins from our food? And the kind of answer to them is probably not. And for the benefit of the doubt, rather take them, and your body will happily control the excess. But to have too little is criminal.
Yeah. Wow, Dr. Free, thank you very much. And thus begins our journey into the world of vitamin
A fantastic journey.
Absolutely. So join us again next week when we discuss the causes of vitamin B deficiency and the risk groups as well.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. We're going to continue a very important chat with Dr. Darren Green. We are talking about suicide and, most importantly, the prevention of suicide, being World Suicide Prevention Day. Join us for that continued conversation after the break.
On the next episode of The Next Brand Ambassador, things kick up a notch as the top 12 get their first challenge working for a real brand.
Things are about to get serious now.
Right about now, I'm going to actually ask who's got issues.
Kanye comes in, guns blazing.
What is happening?
Kanye should be coming in your heart.
Honey, I told you so.
As always, Tennille has something to say.
Bye-bye.
That's The Next Brand Ambassador, Thursday at 7:30 p.m. on SABC3.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. You're live with Expresso. Thank you so much for tuning in and rejoining a very important conversation, not just because today is World Suicide Prevention Day, but every day we need to be talking about this and hopefully offering a platform for people who are at most risk of feeling like suicide might be an actual option for them to take action in their own lives, or we as family members, friends, can take action in that space. We've got Dr. Darren Green here to answer your questions, and we've got the details of the South African Depression and Anxiety Group on screen on our social media platforms. You can even SMS them and they'll phone you back, but please reach out to someone.
Yeah. You know, Dr. Darren, the first thing that you always hear people say, and I've heard it from so many of my friends who have lost friends and family as a result of death by suicide, is what were they trying to tell me, or what were the signs that
guilt,
I didn't see? You always go back to it as like, what did I not see? Maybe that's what we should be talking about today. What are some of the things that we need to look out for when it comes to suicide?
So up to
prevention?
75% of people do show signs that we can pick up on if we take the time to look, to listen, and obviously to be available. And I think being present when someone's busy talking to you is the first thing. Because while we're talking to people, often they're busy drifting off and already thinking of the next thing, as you know, so really, really being observant. So what are the things you can notice? I think firstly, there's some behavioral patterns that change. People's energy levels might have a considerable change in terms of wanting to show initiative, join projects, join group sessions of doing things like a hike, socializing.
Becoming passive.
So, passive. Isolating yourself is one thing. Secondly, their behavior around things like eating and food might change. Where because of them being in such a dark, lonely place, they don't even have appetite, because that energy requires you actually making an effort to pack a lunch, to actually prioritize that. Self-care is something that can go down as well. They just don't look after themselves in terms of how they look. Their self-care in terms of brushing your hair, looking after yourself, dressing appropriately, hygiene issues can also... So those are massive. And then, of course, obviously, the mood in terms of being really dark. The conversations that I had are often very somber, very sad. You can see people exclude themselves and actually get irritated when someone's too happy. Seriously, it irritates them when someone's laughing or cracking jokes. And then what happens is you often find them then obviously isolating themselves even more. With that sleep disturbance, because of depression and anxiety both having quite a significant effect on sleep, you can either sleep too much, where you have no willpower to get out of bed and lay in bed the entire day, for example, feeling weaker and weaker, or you could obviously stay awake in a hyper-alert state where you then have insomnia, in which case the dire effects on your physiology affect your immunity, your energy
further
levels.
exacerbate.
Exactly. So there are quite a few.
We've spoken about the relationship to mental health issues, and obviously in that case, then there are options. We've spoken so much about that during Mental Health Awareness Month, about seeking professional help, that there are pharmaceuticals, ways that you can approach that. But just picking up on something that you said, you talk about that, the survivor's guilt. I might be using the term in completely the wrong way, but is someone who has experienced suicide close to the family, within their family, a close friend, are they at an increased risk of they themselves following that same course?
So often the family members could be suffering from the same mental illness, biological shortage, for example, of a neurotransmitter in the brain, predisposing them to mental illness or depression. Witnessing suicide and that triggering ideas, oh, maybe I can do that as an exit for my situation, is what we refer to as the suicide contagion. Like a virus that spreads. In terms of thinking, that's in any way a realistic exit to my problem, which obviously it isn't.
Is that more prevalent in young people?
Younger people under the age of 30. So between 15 and 30, obviously, people will then witness the conversations or witness, obviously, famous people and role models having done that, thinking it's a realistic way out. The youngest suicide in South Africa is 6 years old. So you tell me, how does someone at the age of 6 see absolutely no hope and reason to live? It must be a really, really dark place. And we often refer to the analogy of people wearing sunglasses in terms of depression and mental health, where you can only see the darkness through the sunglasses that are tinted. And what we have to do, obviously, is help you realize that it's a temporary thing. It's not a permanent thing. And you can, obviously, overcome the mental health, the depression, etc., and lift those sunglasses and actually start seeing the light again.
Wow, we're talking about Suicide Prevention Day, and the question that I want to ask after this is, if someone attempts to commit suicide once, is there a chance that they might try it again?
Yep. So
we'll talk about that
when
we return after this.
Well, some very important conversations to be had, and so do chime in on Expresso Morning Show SABC3 on our Facebook page. We'll still have the good doctor with us shortly after the break. But certainly something that puts us in a good mood, Sis Princess, is always when you serve the best grind. And what do you have in the confectionaries today? Serving up a beautiful muffin.
Yes, brand muffin.
A brand muffin. Thank you very much, Sis Princess. I really appreciate it.
Arabica beans.
Arabica beans, 100%. Listen, we're also drawing inspiration from our friends that are the cast of Stomp. Their show is coming up starting tonight at the Artscape, and they'll be performing at the end of the show. But Sis Princess and I want to be part of the next time they come around. Yes. And so we've been rehearsing our routine to audition for Stomp back in SA. Sis Princess, let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Loved by those who have tried it. McAfee, great coffee, simple. See you after the break.
Tell us who you would like to see join the presenter search on 3 Top 10. Is it radio presenter and entrepreneur Danny Gaselli, musician and advertising agent Rashen Pillay, TV presenter and MC Kutle Adams, or boxer and radio presenter Zanande Makina? Vote for your favorite on the Presenter Search on 3 Viewers' Choice Twitter poll on twitter.com/be found on 3. T's and C's apply and can be found on presentersearchon3.com.
Hey guys, welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso on SABC3. Great to have you on this Tuesday morning. So good to be in your company. We're engaging in some very interesting conversations, and we want to pull you into the conversation on our Expresso Morning Show SABC3 Facebook page. So we asked you this. What do you think is one of the most difficult conversations to have with family, whether it's having a talk with your son or your daughter, or as a parent, or maybe being the son, being the daughter? And here's what you had to say. Popi Mloka said, good morning. I would say the most dreadful conversation with my mom was when I thought I was lesbian. The look in her face, I never even finished that conversation. And the other one was with my grandmother when she was asking me why I got a tattoo. Whoa, that must have been a very, very difficult one. Mudiechi Motsomane says that one difficult conversation between me and my mom is about sex. It is hard for her to tell me about the use of a condom and the fear that she has of me dating. And when you think about the impact that not having that conversation with your child could have in the future, you realize the importance of actually having it. So put the awkwardness aside. Ronaldia Edwina Jansen says about being sexually molested by a family member who gained their trust. And earlier on today, along with Kim Abrams, the social worker and our friend, of course, who comes to advise us on these things, we highlighted the importance of getting children comfortable and getting them knowledgeable on their bodies as soon as possible, so that these conversations can be had and so much can be avoided that could cause damage later on in life. Then Tebogo Tsolofelo says, for me, it has to be telling my parents that I'm gay. To my surprise, they were like, we've always known. Wow, what a comfort. What a beautiful way to end that off. But of course, right now, we do continue our conversation with Dr. Darren Green, as today is World Suicide Awareness Day.
And of course, that could be if you are someone who is feeling many of the thoughts that we've discussed today. A very difficult thing to broach with your family, with anyone, is to talk about these feelings, and we certainly urge that you do. The South African Depression and Anxiety Group have their helpline open. We've got the number on screen right now, 0800 567 567. If you can't talk to a family member or someone close to you, speak to them. They've got counsellors on standby 24/7. You have to speak to someone. Just start that conversation. But we are continuing now talking about suicide prevention. It's all about taking action today.
Dr. Darren, I wanted to find out, if someone attempts suicide but fails,
yes,
is there a chance that they could try again, or is that going to be a wake-up call?
Enough of a shock.
Yeah, it often is a cry for help.
Yeah.
The definitions, obviously, of what you're referring to is called parasuicide.
Okay.
Where in parallel to dying by suicide, where, for example, someone, as a desperate plea, would try to half end their life.
Okay.
So obviously that comes into play lots of times in the emergency rooms when you see someone coming from an overdose, for example, repeatedly, and the poor family then become numbed to those attempts.
Oh, wow.
It affects the family and the community in such an adverse way, because the first time is obviously this massive dramatic shock, and when it happens again and again, due to the underlying issue not being addressed, or the mental illness not being treated efficiently, it can then represent. But the effects on the family and the community are quite dire in that sense. But, you know, people tend to say, but you're crying wolf, until it becomes so close to home, when it's one of your own family members, brothers, sisters, or parents.
And one can certainly empathize with both sides of that coin. I keep going back to putting myself in that position if someone close to me does come, or even we have strangers. I think maybe there's a level of anonymity in the job that we have, but people often declare pretty deep and dark things to us because it's safer than going to their family, to going to someone that they know. But specifically for someone who would be expected to action on what they are hearing. What do I say? What if someone, a family member or someone close to me, reveals that they are in a suicidal space? What tone do I use and what words?
Great question. Great. So we call it suicidal ideation, when they're even thinking of it as an option. And in that time, you might make contact with someone that opens up to you or talks to you. And what happens is, the first thing is, don't judge what they say. Don't say, oh, but that's, there's just snap out of it. There's just so much good about you. Remember, the problem in that emotional state right there is they don't have the ability to see an exit plan other than something, as dismal as this. They also don't have the ability to see any good in a situation. So, looking at good, it's black or white. There's no grey for someone that's extremely depressed and suffering from depression.
By highlighting the good, you're only reinforcing.
Exactly. So, firstly, is don't assume that they will get to someone else. If they are serious and they've actually volunteered information, don't leave it. Actually accompany them and take them and say to them, I'm going to take you to someone right now because you're feeling where you're at. Yeah. And there is something we can do about it. Don't just assume someone else is going to do it. Don't say, call me if you need help.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's often what happens. Yeah. If you're concerned, a teacher, for example, that watches someone in the classroom should pick up the phone and phone the parents and say, I've noticed this, I am concerned. Can you do something about it, or must I do something about it at school? Yeah. And that applies to us in this situation.
So it's almost less about what you can say, because you're not a psychologist, you're not a therapist,
Correct.
and you cannot say the magical words that'll save them in that situation.
So what you do.
Action.
Absolutely.
Action. Okay.
What if somebody is watching right now and they are contemplating suicide?
Yes.
And the question that I have is, how do they overcome those suicidal thoughts? What processes can they put in place? How can you help get yourself out of that dark place if you realize this is something that I'm constantly thinking about all of a sudden?
Absolutely. You remember I referred to last week a thought. Not defining completely who you are.
I've thought about that.
Yes, how a thought can come into your head, and what we need to realize that the thoughts coming into our minds and heads, even if they're negative thoughts, for example, they are not forever. They are temporary in nature, and we have the ability to actually choose whether we agree with the thought, believe the thought, or not. And what we'll do when we get you, obviously, to be heard by someone, when you start sharing those thoughts, someone will then take you through a counseling process and a guided process, hold your hand through it to actually reiterate and show you that those thoughts don't define you.
Sure.
Completely. And ultimately, at the end of the day, ask yourself the question, who is thinking that thought?
Yes.
There is a greater being, whether you are spiritual or not, there is a greater being thinking that thought. That thought is in your mind. And there are people who know the mechanics of your brain who can take you through a process to rewire it. It's not about them getting you to believe anything or to see the brighter side of life. It's not about that. They know they have the tools to be able to help you. They have learned those tools and they have proven those tools. So there is help in that sense, but it does require you to just speak out.
Absolutely.
Thanks very much, guys, for that very encouraging message. Thanks also to Dr. Darren Green for this Medical Tuesday chat. But you know what's happened in the interim after Maya and Sis Princess's audition for Stomp, because of course they've got the show starting off tonight at the Artscape until the 15th of September. We've now made it to the next round of auditions to be in the next Stomp when they come back. Sis Princess, we must give them the remix that we practiced 30 seconds ago. Are you ready? Here we go. Freestyle, Baba. What's the Arabica? Arabica beans. Arabica.
100%.
100. Pepe. 100. Pepe. Senya. Patela. Kokota. There's nothing smoother than winning when you buy Tropica. To enter for Tropica Island of Treasure Curacao, buy any size and your favorite flavor of Tropica in fresh or long life. Find the unique code behind the label or the sticker. Then follow the entry details on the pack and you could win daily prizes of airtime, cash, LG Q60 smartphones, 55-inch LG UHD smart artificial intelligence digital TVs, steam dishwashers, Caribbean tan hampers, or guest watches. That's more than 100,000 prizes. Now, for your chance at competing in Tropica Island of Treasure Curacao, record a video audition of yourself describing how you would outsmooth your competition on the island. Then load that video onto Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook with hashtag TIOT9 or WhatsApp the video to 063-921-8395. And it could be you winning a share of 1 million rand plus smooth fame and fortune while flying with KLM to the Caribbean for this season of Tropica Island of Treasure Curacao.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It's Expresso right here on SABC3. We are talking about World Suicide Prevention Day. And just to share that number with you again for the South African Depression and Anxiety Group, you can call the Suicide Helpline on 0800 567 567 if you do find that you need help. But we're going to go to our social media comments.
Yeah, a couple of people weighing in. Thank you so much for being a part of the conversation. Shireen obviously wishing us all a good morning. Morning, Shireen.
Hi, Shireen.
I know some people who suffer from bipolar disorder and are depressed. They have said on many occasions that they want to end their lives. I've managed to speak to someone very close and to always tell me if they're not okay, and it helps a lot. And they're also on medication. Again, weighing in that if you witness a change in someone, if someone does speak to you, you know, action it in some way. Speak to their family, speak to a therapist. As you've said, it's not easy for them, but with love and support and professional help, it can help. And then Rochelle, so thanks, Shireen. And then Rochelle coming in saying a lack of support to the families is crucial, because once a suicide takes place in our disadvantaged areas, parents or family shun one another. I feel it's so unfair. In schools, bullying is a major taboo subject, yet suicides happen due to this in schools. Schools should bring this up in life orientation classes. Wow, so sad.
Yeah, very big goal for the Department of Education. They're implementing in terms of life orientation skills at the moment, in view of the high teenage suicide rate.
Is it more prevalent in disadvantaged communities?
There is lower, middle to lower economic, socioeconomic, because of this, the stress in those communities in terms of competition to survive, in terms of things like resources, as well as obviously things like crime. You can imagine the psychological stress of living in fear. Feeling safe is at the core of so many of our mental health illnesses. So safety is a big thing when it comes to mental health.
Can I just ask this, bolting onto the consciousness of the country right now, how prevalent, when you look at the causes of suicide, is abuse at the core of what's driving suicide?
Yeah, so there are two sides to that. The one thing is that people go through a process where they develop, for example, what we refer to as the battered wife syndrome, where they start having a belief system that they aren't worthy of anything greater and more than that, where they don't realize that the thoughts that are being imposed upon them by someone else's actions actually is a lie, and that they are worth more than that. So they struggle to break the belief system that I'm not worth anything, I'm a failure, I'm not good enough. So they struggle to break that thought process, and therefore they don't do anything to change the pattern of behavior that they're subjected to. When it comes obviously to changing that, you need to start with the belief system to get the action to be changed.
I want to know, is there a link between mental health and suicide?
Yeah, so mental health refers obviously to your stability in terms of your mood going above the line and below the line. It's normal for us to have happy days sometimes and a little bit of a shadier day on other times. The problem comes in when your time below the line becomes significant enough that it starts affecting your decision making, your relationships at work, school, at home, etc. And then those periods become prolonged, leading then to a change of behavior over time, and that negative ideation that we discuss.
Sure.
One last piece of advice to leave. I know it's such a broad topic and we've spoken about a lot, so thank you so much for sharing your perspective. What would you like to round off with?
I think if high impact message would be, treat someone that shows you a sign that they might be not coping and considering obviously a lack of self-worth in their lives. Treat them like you would one of your closest family members. Ask, what would I have liked if I was in that position? And it might change significantly your perception of what you need to do. And don't assume someone else is going to do it, because then you live with the guilt of having known and seen these symptoms and not actioning them, like you've said. So let's use the wonderful resources we have in our country and modify and change behavior from belief systems. And the young people out there, just find one person to talk to.
Yeah.
One person.
Even if it's not someone close to you, speak to someone who can direct you in the right way. Just take that one tiny, tiny first step. It's not a massive thing, just one step. Speak to someone. The number to call right now, 0800 567 567. There is someone standing by 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to speak to you.
All right, well, exciting news on this front. Of course, we are on the journey to finding the next two presenters that'll be filling two spots, the two coveted spots here on your Feel Good Presenter, Feel Good Breakfast Show, with, of course, with Presenter Search on 3, the Expresso edition. And last week, in the installment of Presenter Search on 3, the Expresso edition, we showcased the reveal of your top 10 contestants, as well as gave you, the viewers out there, the power to share in the journey by finding out who will be the two new presenting faces on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. So you had a choice between these four. Kuhle Adams was one of them, then Danny Gaselli, Zinande Makina, and Reshen Pillay. And today is the very last day that you can have your say. Now, you can vote by heading over to the Presenter Search on 3 Twitter page that you can find with the handle @BeFoundOn3, and then choosing your favorite from these four to be voted back into the competition. The vote or the poll that is pinned at the top of the page, and you have to vote, and you do so wisely because you can only vote once. Now, we invited each of these contestants to Expresso last week Thursday to have an exclusive chance to state why they think they are worthy of your vote, and they each made a very compelling case for themselves. So this is not a very, very easy decision to make, and if you haven't done so already, then make sure that you head on over to that Twitter page and vote, because this is how it stands
guys,
right now.
Did my plea for Roshen's family, can every...
But mine definitely helped Danny, and he went up.
By 1%?
Okay. He went up.
Okay, by 1%.
Okay. Who did he steal it from? He didn't steal it from...
He stole it from Zinande.
Zinande.
Yeah. All right, so as
now
it stands
I feel
right
guilty. Now I feel like we're affecting
No,
the...
she's still standing strong.
Who's this?
She's still Zinande.
Zinande at 32%, with Danny Gaselli at 15%, Reshen Pillay 5%.
I'm going to say right now...
Adams outrightly at 48% right now.
Every single person who knows Reshen right now, vote. Get on there and vote. In fact, even if you don't know him, but you want to represent, just vote for him, man. You know? But
comrade, that is not a democracy, comrade. You know what I mean? In terms of democratic vote, no.
But also,
you don't vote for the president because of shame.
My heart.
Do you know what I mean?
But also, each one of these contestants, each one of these Viewers' Choice contestants have to take responsibility for pushing this themselves. So
but that's what I mean. So we can't have Akashim votes.
But
she's going.
Kutle has already got the social media following, so that's what I'm saying. She's awesome. They're all awesome, but I kind of feel like, come on, guys, 5%. Push them above 10.
No, wait. Can we just unequivocally put this conversation on the table and say, this is a very important decision to be made, because two of them, is one of them, right?
One of them
is entering back into the competition.
Into the top 10,
So guys, you literally have to vote for your favorites. You can check out all of their social media pages, check out, their episode when they were on Expresso last week Thursday. Listen to what they said. Make your decision based on that. Don't look at 5% now and then go, Graham.
I don't want it to be a popularity contest. They must be good, and
that's what I mean.
You must base it on them being good.
But that's exactly what I mean. So don't look at the social media and go, because they're the most followed, I should vote for them. Look at it as a way of taking in information as your survey and then making that decision.
You just have to go back and watch the segment. That's the only way. Go back onto our YouTube and watch it.
Followings is just based on taking a good picture. You need to have the...
I feel like we're throwing cats among...
Here's the news. There are 8 more weeks on this journey to finding out who will take those 2 coveted presenting spots right here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. So share in the excitement of the process by voting on the Twitter poll and tuning in tomorrow night, of course, where you will see who won your vote. And that's only on Presenter Search on 3, the Expresso edition, every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. with repeats on Saturdays at 1 p.m. right here on SABC 3, where the stage is yours. But are you guys ready for what's about to happen, right?
I want to stomp.
Yeah, so we are getting our Stomp on. They have a show tonight. It's
so much better than I was. It's going to be awesome.
Back again in South Africa after nearly a decade. Earlier on, we saw their trolley routine, we saw their pipe routine, and to give you a taste tease of what you can expect, here they are with the frog routine.
Come on now.
Wow.
Back in South
That was
Africa, back in the
amazing.
mother city. First show tonight at 8 p.m. And it runs until the 15th of September at the Artscape. Let's give them one more round of applause. Take a bow, guys. That's amazing. What a performance.
My hands are stinging just from clapping for them.
Wow.
That is awesome, man.
Yeah,
what
man.
a cool bunch of people as well.
Takes me back to the days when I was a gumbo dancer doing my thing.
When was that?
When I was younger, Leanne.
Okay.
That's how he made his way. That's how he made his
I used
way.
to break it down, you know, out there just as a young.
He was one of the few a cappella
You know what I mean?
dancer.
It was a cappella, Leanne.
Can you show us some of your moves from back in the day?
You, Leanne, what are you trying to
You
do?
must say, no, not really.
By the way, how was that bride?
How was the bride?
So good.
Yeah?
Did
It was
princess come?
amazing.
Did princess come to your bride?
Hey?
No.
Was it well
she
attended?
didn't.
No, not
Hey,
really.
it was very
Was it
well
well
attended.
attended?
Actually, yes.
Was there lots of meat
There was
left over?
porky and meat. It was so good.
Lots of meat left over?
No, finished from all the people that were there.
Oh my gosh. Mense by die Dusaina. Yeah. I love the Instagram story that didn't happen. You know what I
Hey,
mean?
because I'm a private person.
Because you're a private. How do I
Thank
forget
you.
these things?
Thank you.
You know, it's how it
How
happens.
about that gumbo dancing? Take us out of the show, Dad. Show us. Show us. Come, show us.
See you later.
Hey, yes.
That's actually pretty good. What do you know about this?
No, not really.
You know, back in my day as an aspiring gumbo dancer, I would rock the stage. That never happened. I'm kidding.
Don't forget to get those votes in. Get onto our Twitter page right now. There are 4 hopefuls just waiting for your vote to possibly push them through to join the top 10 on Presenter Search on 3, the Expresso edition. Get your votes in today. It closes midnight tonight, eh?
Yeah.
So get it on it, please, guys, please.
You could be making someone's dream come
man, you
true.
can change their life.
And of course, set your alarms to catch the episode tomorrow at 7:30 on SABC3. One more time for Stomp. Thanks, guys. You've made our Tuesday extra wonderful. Have yourself a wonderful day. Make someone smile out there. Bye-bye.
We love
See
you.
tomorrow.
Too much.
6 o'clock tomorrow. Don't be late.
much.
Just Princess, we're gonna be part of Stomp. Yes.
No, not really.
Expresso Morning Show, made with love by Clover.
Another feel-good production.
Love